Oh, no screamer? There we go.
Well,
Zach Wheeler says.
Zach Wheeler.
That's the Zach Wheeler scream.
Yeah, when his career went down the tubes.
Like a Wilhelm scream, right? Out of all the Star Wars movies, you got to have that scream in there. Yo YouTube. I forgot to put the yo in my video today. Did you see that? Did you watch it at all?
Didn't. I was in the office all day, so I didn't get a chance to.
So I threw it in text. I was gonna go back and just film like me saying yo, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. It's 2.5 hours long as it is. So
at least you weren't like me.
Throw it in text.
At like 11:30 at night, you're finishing up some content, and you're like, by the way, I'll be out at a card show this week. I'll be at, and say the entire wrong place. Like I did.
Oops. I'm sure I've done something like that.
Oak Creek this weekend, and for some reason after I watched back the video I said Eau Claire, so it was definitely late.
Oops. Yeah, that stuff happens for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had right after I posted it, I had a viewer or somebody contact me, and they're like, does anybody watch these 2.5 hour videos? And I'm like, probably. I would hope not, straight through, like with a bag of popcorn, but
yeah.
I think, okay, so here's my thought on that, because some viewers like really long videos, some hate really long videos, whatever.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Which, if you don't want to watch it, you just don't watch it, right? I mean, you're an American, you can do what you want.
America.
But my thought on that is our viewing audience isn't like, it's not like when my daughter sits down and she wants to watch all these snappy TikTok 10-second things, and she has doesn't have an attention span.
Yeah.
Our content is consumed, or at least mine, I'm sure yours is to some degree too, is consumed as a like background for the most part, right? So you might have it on, on a monitor, on a TV, whatever, and you're kind of doing your thing, and then maybe you're like, ooh, he's got some Jim Tomei, minor league cards. I love Jim Tomei. And then they'll kind of watch that chunk and then maybe let it play a little longer, or just listings. So it's like watching. I think about that with breaks, right? Like, let's say you're breaking a case of Score football, right? That's going to take you like 19 hours or whatever.
Right.
They film that, and it's not like, again, like you're just sitting down and that's what you're doing is watching, 12 hours this break. You just kind of put the break on, and then as, things that matter happen, or things you're interested in happen, then you pay attention. So I have a feeling, because my average view time on a 2-hour video is like 20 minutes.
Right.
So clearly not that many people are watching, and I have 1,000 views, so I have a good chunk of views.
Yeah.
But out of that 1,000, how many are watching the 2.5 hours or 2 hours of it? Maybe like 10%. And it's just because it's on and playing.
Right.
It's part of a binge or whatever.
That's what I do. When I'm working from home, I usually have it on in the background, and I'm listening to you, or I'm listening to Bo or some others that I subscribe to, and it's just playing all day. Like if I probably, because I'm focusing on work a lot of times, I couldn't tell you back 80% of what I watched, to be honest. And then I'll watch it again later. I'll be like, oh yeah, I heard something that I wanted to dig deeper into. And then later on, I'll go back to that section of the video and pull it up. But
yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it. You can kind of go where you want. It's not like you have to watch, I would like to chapter, but something like just pulling out stacks of cards and like, how do you chapter that,
Yeah.
Well, this is row 1, this is row 2, I don't know. So I just kind of leave it, and people watch it as they want. And if you don't want to watch it, that's fine too. And I have plenty of shorter videos. I do, 20-minute videos, half-hour video,
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, okay, well, everybody wants to see what the pickups were in this big buy. Well, how do I show that? Like, the only thing you can do is, here's the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting conundrum on that one. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to make it shorter. So
it's funny you brought up the chapters, because I click on that setting to let YouTube auto chapter it. But when I look at my own videos to kind of not edit it. What's the word I'm looking for, Adam? Just browse it, make sure it
review it.
I wanted to review it. I don't see anything about the chapters, so I don't know if it does anything or not.
I think it does, but I think you can only chapter once you are monetized.
Oh, okay.
So it's probably there as a feature for everybody, but I don't think they, I don't want to put it this way, but I don't think they bother with videos that don't, have monetization.
Oh, I see, Mr. Big. My videos, my content
That's
isn't worthy of that feature.
put the goat in the videos and maybe you'll get it.
Yeah. You bring up a great point too about,
I always
everybody's
do.
yeah, everybody's looking for something different, because I would tell you the same thing. I was browsing some of my data today, and I was surprised to see my video with the most views is also my longest. It was that 4-hour video where I went through that entire 1976 SSPC set, and that really surprised me. Now, lately I'm doing more shorter stuff because I just have a time crunch and it fits better.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's I would imagine the same thing is happening with that. Nobody's watching 4 hours all the way through, right? They're watching bits and pieces, and they
Yeah.
come back to it later and watch a little bit more.
And it depends on the type of content too. Card show videos do pretty well. Um, break videos used to do really well, but I think it's so commonplace now and so competitive. I don't know that they get a lot of views anymore, unless you're in the break.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you just kind of have to find something. It was funny in the Discord. I don't know if it was yesterday or today. One of our viewers or our community people said, "Hey, I love the data. Thanks for making the data videos." And I know other people would be like, "I don't want to watch this crap. Where's the
Yeah.
cards?"
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You have to kind of, and I think it's good that you're doing that because there isn't a lot of people that are putting that stuff together. Most content creators are doing like their journey or whatever, and you're kind of going, what is everybody else doing, or what's happening here? And you're pulling those numbers and looking at population statistics and things like that. And I think that's a
Yeah.
cool angle. There are definitely people who are going to be interested in that.
And that's what steered me there. Like, I'll watch Sports Card Investor and stuff sometimes, and it's always whose prices are going up, right?
Mhm.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean a lot of those cards are moving, especially if the prices are way up, right? So I wanted to focus on, as a low end seller, we're not. Don't get me wrong. We're fishing for gold out there sometimes, and we might find a $20 card, but by and large, we're looking for things that can move, flip, make a little bit of margin, and move us on to the next card, right? So that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to focus on. Who's moving the most, regardless of price?
And
And that's
honestly, my focus has shifted quite a bit, since starting to do this to exactly what you're talking about. I want to buy bulk of a player I can sell bulk of,
yeah,
right? I don't want to buy, 100 cards of a player and I sell them one by one. Like then
right,
you get kind of feed to death and so on. I like players like Peter, where someone comes in and they buy 10 or 15 at a time.
yeah,
Insert parallels, base, it doesn't matter. Favre does that for me. Brady, there's some obvious names that do that. But there's a few less obvious names that do that too. I do well with Troy Aikman that way, and Ben Roethlisberger, and like someone Nolan Ryan. Some ones that you wouldn't necessarily pop into your head right away.
right,
Um, but it happens. So yeah, so it's interesting. I like to know. Well, if there's a lot of this player's cards sold, there's probably multiple card orders, right? Wouldn't you think?
yeah,
Or at least the
for sure.
odds are greater, right? You're just
Yep.
playing odds.
Hmm.
Um, so that's what, when I look at your data, that's what I try to get from it. I try to go, okay, well, who's a player that I can sell a whole bunch of,
Yeah, yeah,
at one time? And there's obviously like the hot moment. Everybody had to have Anthony Edwards 3 weeks ago, so I sold the crap out of those. But now that, well, they're still in, but he's not what everyone was saying he was.
yep.
Um, I don't expect that kind of flurry of activity. So it's not like I'm out, like that's going to be one of my top bulk carry players.
Right.
Um, and
Or like a Paul Skeens, right?
right.
He started off hot and he rocketed up the sales, and now he's starting to plane off to what you would normally see with a pitcher, right?
He also has like a super famous girlfriend. So I think there's like that sidebar type crap, kind of like Kelsey,
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know how long that would last, but for as long as it does, it'll probably help his cards a little bit too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's got 23 million followers or something. I don't know, something stupid
Yeah.
like that.
And he throws 100 miles an hour, so his arm could break down at any time.
Pretty sure it will.
Versus,
to throw 100 miles an hour, don't you kind of have to overthrow? How else do you get there?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, even if you have super arm strength and you're long and you have all the advantages, big reach, all that stuff, I would still think you have to put a lot of force behind that baseball to get it there in 100.
Yeah. Now juxtapose Paul Skeens to a guy like Shota Managa. Is that how you say it?
Managa, yeah.
My Brewers are pounding tonight, but that's a different story for a different time. But he's a command and control pitcher. So he'll get to 92, 94, but he's not overthrowing. And he's off to just as hot a start without as much, hype. So when you look at the long-term play, who's the better buy right now?
Well, I think Lewis Gill's kind of like that too, isn't he? He's also just a 90s pitcher. He doesn't do a lot of.
I'm not sure what
he has like four pitches or something that he throws, which is unusual now.
Yeah. But when you look at the risk reward, right? Shota's probably more likely to win Rookie of the Year than Paul Skeens. And Shota's probably going to be more durable than a Paul Skeens. So if I'm going to load up on one of them, I'm taking Shota.
See, my favorite pitchers were always those types of pitchers, right? Like Greg Maddux was amazing.
Yeah.
And he played 20 years, never really had an injury, Could probably pitch again if he really had to, because he only threw 85 miles an hour,
Yeah.
But he had a perfect pitch. Every pitch was perfect. So unless you were hitting perfect,
pitch until they were 50.
Yeah. Knuckleballers are tough though because they walk a lot of batters.
True.
So it's like game wise, they're not always the greatest choice. There's a few that
success is tough too.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I like Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux and those types of pitchers that caught the corners. Pedro Martinez.
Yep.
Not a ton of heat. They could reach back and get a 94 or 95, if they needed that in that pitch, but it wasn't the regular thing,
Right.
And the game has changed. I'm also mentioning pitchers who played 20 years ago.
And are in the Hall of Fame.
And they're in the Hall of Fame. That matters. And the game's faster now, and you need more speed in the pitch and blah blah blah. I get all that, but you look at like Ohtani when he hits the ball, like the speed at which it leaves his bat is insane.
Yeah.
Like how do you pitch past that guy? He's so fast. The bat comes around. It doesn't matter if you throw 100.
Yep.
He can hit it. So even the batting has changed quite a bit since then.
Sure.
You'd think he'd lose power with that, but not in his case. It's just the right combination, I guess.
Yeah. So we skipped over our normal chit chat. How was your holiday weekend?
It was pretty good. I got video of this, but I'm not sharing it with any of you people. But we had a shed in our backyard. I don't know. Have you ever been in my backyard? We had a shed back by the end of the woods by the fire pit.
Not like formally, like I could see a little bit around your garage when I would come over or something, but we've never been standing out in the backyard.
Okay, so it's the other side of the yard.
Okay.
The back corner. Right. Well, we decided to move it to our side yard because Bree's doing like a little kind of like farm garden kind of thing. I don't know how else to put it, like cottage garden. So it would look good up there. We wanted that whole back corner back open because we want to plant more custas, and it's very wild, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're like, geez, we got to take this whole thing apart. It's a lot of screws and, you know, all this and that. We didn't do that. We took the roof off, and then we picked up the entire building and carried it up the hill. So it's a hill to my side yard.
Okay.
And then we have like an arched entryway with planter boxes on either side. Well, it doesn't fit through that. We had to lift it up, and set it on the planter boxes, and then run around to the other side and pick it up. And yeah, it wasn't good. I used parts I haven't used probably ever in my life. I was so sore the next day.
Yeah.
So then we're like, oh, the roof came off easy. You'd think the roof would be the easy thing to carry, right? Well, it was, but it was impossible to put it back on. So we're trying to put it on, and it's like, you know, it's just got that metal frame inside. It's a plastic shed, right? So it's got, you know, like plastic, like roofing panels and stuff.
Sure.
So we're kind of trying to get it on there. Well, it's twisting, and some of the, you know, the metal bracket on the inside is, you know, bending, and we're like, this isn't going to work. And take the whole, yeah. So to take the whole thing off, unscrew it all, put all the metal back up, screw all the panels on, and it looks great, and it worked out fine. But man, that was just a huge project.
Yeah.
I had probably a yard and a half of just sticks. Yard as in measurement, not as in my land.
Yeah.
So I just had a huge fire in my backyard and just kept throwing sticks in, and, you know, from all the storms and everything. So I did that. Then we went to my mom lives right on the parade route in De Pere,
Okay.
in a condo. So we went there, went and took the kids and walked across the street to watch the parade, which was kind of cool. Came back. She has a pool in her condo, so the kids, we all swam for a little while. Just kind of relaxed a little bit. I used more muscles that I don't use. But you know, yesterday morning was
in the card room, huh?
yeah. Yesterday morning was a little slow, but
Sure.
but no, it's great. And you went up north, right? And you went on the.
We did. Went up north, spent the day on the ATV trails as a family on Saturday. So we've got 3 machines, a side-by-side and 2 four-wheelers. So my oldest and I are on the wheelers. And then my wife and my youngest ride in the side-by-side normally. But we actually had one of my kids' friends came along for the first time to experience it. So my youngest rode with me this time, and the friend rode with mother in the side-by-side. So it was nice because it rained pretty heavy on Friday. So the dust was down on the trails. There were some nice water holes to blast through. I got my son soaking wet by speeding through some deep puddles. So that's always a good time. And then we had some time on Sunday to do some work on our project up there, pulling out drywall screws from all the studs and stuff in that room we're remodeling. And then we actually came back home Sunday evening because the weather was not as good Sunday. So then Monday we had a nice relaxing day at home. I was able to get back to work with some card stuff and post some more content out there on the YouTube channel. And then Tuesday right back into the grind, right?
Yep. Pretty much. Holidays only last so long.
They do. But Memorial Day is behind us. Summer is officially upon us.
I can't wait. And football sales are really picking up, and basketball's almost done. Thankfully, I'm not a big basketball guy. Baseball really heating up. You're really getting an idea of who's good and who isn't, and who's got a shot at doing something. And it's good. Hockey playoffs. I do like hockey playoffs. Those are closing out pretty quick here.
Yeah.
But yeah, changing of the seasons in more ways than one, right? Sports and the outdoor weather. My daughter's playing soccer for the first time, and she's actually going to be the goalie. And so I took her out. That was another thing I did this weekend. We have our own like little soccer field. My HOA owns a park, so we went over there, and I just worked with her a little bit. You know, it's a recreational league. The coaches aren't going to take any time with her for goalie instruction and stuff. So I just kind of went out there and I kind of showed her how to own the goal and be able to tell her defensive players what she needs them to do, and when you should go after the ball, when you need to sort of get back and just cut off angles and stay in goal. So all the things that matter, right? Get your body in front of the ball so it doesn't. If you miss it with your hands, it doesn't go in the goal. Just things that seem obvious, but no one's ever, she's never done this before. So
right, you don't know until someone tells you.
Don't know. We had our last practice last night because our first game is tomorrow, and she was awesome. She was commanded that goal. That was her goal box. She was yelling at her defenders what she wanted them to do. She was running out to the line and making a strong throw to her, her teammates up ahead, and it was awesome. It's really awesome to see her coming along with it, and she really, really, really enjoys it. So hopefully the first game goes well.
We had a nice experience you'll probably appreciate. I have a longtime friend, grown a little distant just because of families and work and stuff. We don't see each other as often anymore, but he's finally realizing something he's been talking about for 20 years. They are selling the house and moving to Florida. The kids are both in college. One's just about done with his doctorate. The other one's a couple years younger and still chasing his bachelor's, but the house is empty. His work takes him down to Orlando pretty frequently. So they finally did it and sold their house in Ashwaubenon and are moving to Florida next month. So we got a message that said, "Hey, my kid's got a ton of Star Wars stuff. Would you guys want it?"
Oh boy!
So I'm like, "Yeah, we'll come over." This had happened once before with like a bunch of Lego stuff, and it was all really great stuff, great condition, right? So I went over there thinking, okay, maybe 1 or 2 boxes. No, it was like 8 totes full of top of the line Star Wars toys and artwork.
Wow.
I'm talking like the full size AT-AT Walker. Well, not full size; it'd be crushing my house. But
right.
but like the 2 foot tall AT-AT Walker, full size Millennium Falcon, bunch of Yoda stuff. Like just one thing after another. My kids were in heaven.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because it's like all the Star Wars toys you always wanted as a kid but couldn't afford. And then all of a sudden, here they are. It was like Christmas in May.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
And they got them for free, so even better.
Yeah. In fact, the totes are right behind me. I might have to grab something out of those to show you.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a little show and share later. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So, so before we get too far into it, I put the Discord link on the screen right away this time because we always kind of get to it later, sort of trip into it. And I thought it was important to maybe start that out right away. I know already most of you are already in that Discord. But if not, we'd love to have you join us there. We always have a lot of good discussion and sharing and very positive community. And you can post your listing numbers. You can add your link to your store, your social media on there. So it gives you a chance to, be a part of a community of people who are doing all the same thing, right? Or similar things, I should say. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to take that banner off, though, so you can see our names on it.
I had to switch out the sunglasses. As you know, we're often staring face first at a bunch of lights, so it felt great, and it was kind of fun for the summer. But I realized I'm pretty much blind as a bat on anything within 2 feet of my face. So once we get to the chat, I couldn't see it at all. So I thought I better switch them up.
Sometimes you have to do that, right? I mean, that's part of the deal.
Go back into professor mode.
Right. Yeah, every once in a while I'm like, I'm just gonna wear my glasses tonight, and then I see like all the reflection and everything. I'm like, I can't do it. So I take
you got to turn your screen brightness down and get the angles right.
I mean, I use a ring light because I like that. I like that light coming from behind, and it's just big rings on your glasses,
Or you want to get the right complexion, right?
Yeah. Look like I go out in the sun once in a while.
We can't all be pasty white like Stu.
Right. One-eared Stu. But yeah, so it was nice to have a holiday weekend. It's tough for me because you don't really get holidays when you work for yourself. So I kind of got up a little early Saturday, a little early Sunday, a little early Monday. Started pulling some cards. I had a pretty good stack by Tuesday, so I at least got some stuff pulled. I did a little bit of listing. Fortunately, I have the scanner right now, so I was able to. And I have giant boxes of cards. So I was able to grab couple stacks of scannable stuff and get some things in there, just to make
And your
sure
scans renewed. Perfect timing.
Yeah, I forgot about when I told you that it was on the 23rd when I told you I'm out of scans, but I forgot my subscription goes 24th to 24th. So yeah, ironically, the next day I got reloaded, so it was perfect timing. That's why I feel like I have the right number of scans, because
Yeah.
even if I could or wanted to just sit down and like scan for 4 days straight, um, I either A, wouldn't have enough to scan, I'd run out, or there's just other things that you have to do. You can't just sit down and scan the whole time. At least I
Yeah,
can't.
we're both at 1,100 scans a month, right? Is that the plan we signed up for?
That's what I have at 1,100. Last month I ended up getting 1,000 bonus scans.
That's right.
Because I sent a bunch of referrals and stuff to Car Dealer Pro. But yeah, normally it's so I'm back to my 1,100. I didn't get that as like a permanent upgrade or anything. It was just a 1 month, which was really nice. I used all of them, so I was able to get a bunch of stuff scanned in. But and these boxes are going to have quite a bit. If you watched any of the video, I have quite a bit of stuff I can scan because it's a lot of 80s, 90s, a few 70s. Which is basically all paper cards, right? So
yeah.
One of the things that I really enjoyed was there's a bunch of really cool like minor league cards, and there might be like a 92 Donruss card, but it's the 7-Eleven version.
Yes.
There's a ton of that stuff in there, and I love that stuff. Like
I actually got the 7-Eleven little circle poker chip cards. Those are super cool.
So anything where it's like store premiums, I have some like Shell gas station cards and like stuff like that. They're numbered different on the back. They're legit, it's pretty obvious that they're real. But I was surprised to see you don't find those in boxes generally. So I was pretty happy about that. One of my favorite, I guess you can call them parallels, but in 2007 Score, I don't know if they came in like chip bags or whatever, but there's the regular Score base card, and then there's like the card, but it's got a little Doritos logo in the top right corner. And then there's one with a Fritos logo and one with a Cheetos logo.
Yeah,
dude, I had so much fun trying to get all those and put that together because they never come up. And but how fun is that? Like you have an entire Frito-Lay collection of parallels, like so much cooler parallels than like Red Wave and Blue Camo and so I love that stuff. So as I was going through it, I'm like, oh, there's some 92 Donruss, and I started looking closer, and I'm like, man, these are like, there's a lot of short print stuff in there. Luckily, on a lot of those, they were labeled like this. So like this says short print variant. I don't know if you can read that at all. It's in pencil.
I just see a 7.
It's supposed to have like SP variant. Yeah, it's underneath the 7.
Okay.
But so luckily, a lot of them are kind of labeled. So because a lot of those like tops variants in baseball and stuff, it's so hard to tell, or short prints or whatever.
Yeah.
And scanner helps. Scanner picks up some of that too. But at least a bunch of them are labeled, so it helps me kind of. Or like, I had a bunch of tops ones that were blue border parallels, and he wrote that on there with like what the multiplication was of the base price.
Nice.
Figure out the price, like the old school Beckett days, right? The base card was 10 cents, and you multiplied it by 5 if it was gold or whatever. So old school. But yeah, having tons of fun. I found a bunch of Tiger Woods in there today. So it's awesome. So that's kind of my weekend in a nutshell. Back at it, filling orders. Orders have been a little bit smaller. I wouldn't say like less, but smaller, if that makes sense. Instead of a lot of 20 card orders, I'm getting 5 card orders and things like that. I'll do a ramp up coupon, I think, next month. But in the meantime, in a way, it's kind of nice because I can fill the orders faster. I can get more listed. So
Sure.
as long as you're doing something productive, in the long run, it's going to still give you growth. So um, that's kind of where I'm at, because I've noticed a lot of people in Discord are like, sales are slow, and it's like, okay, well, what are you doing then? What are you doing since it's slow and you're not dealing with sales? What are you trying to do to fill that time?
Right.
So um, I think that's important to think about, on a regular basis, because it goes in these cycles, and as we get closer to the national, we hit that July time, it's boom. I mean, football just goes insane.
Right.
And once the national comes in, cards is on everybody's mind. And there's actually like a national virtual card show. I think it's on Whatnot next weekend, maybe.
Really?
There's like 4,000 major vendors that are going to be on there, and they each have their own time slots. And yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, viewers. I think it's on Whatnot. But anyway, I was watching Pac-Man, and he was talking about it. I'm like, oh, that could get some new attention, too. We're kind of in that little bit of lull time.
Yeah.
Before a lot of the new products and stuff come out for
sure.
football and stuff. So, but yeah, that and non-sport. As long as you keep non-sport going, you'll always have something, for sure. No seasons in non-sport, which is great.
That's right.
So, should we check in with chat? It's been a little bit here. We've got 21 viewers right now, so thanks everybody for joining us. If you're enjoying this, please give us a like. We would appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, Charlie's channel as well. Charlie, what's your channel?
It is JC3 Cards and Collectibles.
There you go. Check him out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. And yeah, ring the bells so you get notified of future videos too. I still have people message me once in a while. Oh, I didn't even know you put a video out. And it's like, you can do something to get that. I'm not going to email you every time I post a video.
In fairness, that doesn't always work right, though, because like you'll tell me you didn't get my notifications until like a day later.
I do. Yeah, I get yours, but they're always late for some reason. I don't know why that is. But yeah, you're right. But at least I get it. Like I can still go watch it,
Yeah.
Most of the stuff we're posting, it's not like you have to get on it, within the hour or anything.
Right.
It's not breaking news. Let's see. Sports Section Plus is here. Hey, yo to you as well. Troy's here. Good evening. Just got back from my son's soccer game. Awesome. 'Tis the season. I get it. Bill is here. What is that? Johnny M is here. Good evening. By the way, that was me that asked if people watch a 2.5-hour video. That's funny. I'm a skim watcher. Yeah, I think most are. Short attention span. Had a guy offer me 150 Jeter base for 225. I passed. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yep.
I pay like 50 cents a base on Jeter, so you'll do pretty well if you buy him at that.
Did you guys, maybe it was you guys in the Discord that had the conversation, like somebody was out east someplace, and they're like, we just don't see prices like that around here.
Yeah, they were like in New York, I think. So
yeah,
they were talking about, you can buy them at the stadium and stuff, like people sell outside. And yeah, I probably wouldn't go to New York to buy Derek Jeter cards at a discount. That's probably the wrong place for that.
Wrong venue.
Wrong venue. So yeah, maybe a card show not there, or some kind of online vendor that's not in New York, that kind of thing would probably be a better shot at getting some better prices. Joe is here. He says, welcome, boys. Adam, love the hair trim. Yeah,
he didn't say welcome, boys. Say it like he wrote it.
Welcome, boys. The things I do for you, Charlie. Yeah, I got thinned out a little bit on the sides here. We still call it COVID cuts at my house.
COVID cuts.
Well, when COVID was happening, we had a friend of ours living with us. He worked from home and didn't have internet where he was living, so that didn't really work out very well. So he moved in here for a bit, and he had a really nice hair trimming set. Couldn't go anywhere to get your hair cut, so I took an old cape from a costume that I used to have. And we used that as like the hair, the hair cape.
Hair apron,
so you put it on backwards. That works perfect. And then my wife would cut our hair, and he kind of does his hair the same way as mine. He'll come up maybe a little bit higher on the razor side than I do. And he doesn't have long hair; he has it cut shorter. But anyway, um, so we're like, hey, this works out pretty well. So every couple of weeks, and he's coming over, I'm like, hey, bring your hair trimmers. Yeah, okay. And then we get a couple haircuts out of it. So he provides the trimmer, and my wife provides the haircut. So it works out well.
Yeah.
Looks like time for a COVID cut. Andrew's here. Good evening, guys. Lofi Joe is here. Evening. Joe says Charlie is in 80s mode. With I wear sunglasses at night.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about the sunglasses, but I didn't feel like it. I figured it was just a Chuck thing.
Yeah, just having some fun now that summer is here.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Hopefully we'll actually get some sun. Andrew says, Adam, I know you listed a bunch of options for your store approaching 60K listing. Sounds like you may be leaning towards adding higher end cards. You also mentioned a 50% off sale, 10 card minimum. Yes, I talked about both of those things. I'm still kind of kicking around what I want to do. I believe at some point I'll probably just have to upgrade the store if I'm going to continue to list. And as long as I'm getting sales, it's worth it, right? So, but yeah, I'm trying to consolidate a little bit. No, I say that, and I just bought a 30K card lot with super low end stuff for the most part. Stuff that will sell and I'll make some money on, but yeah, not necessarily the $2 to $5 box buys.
Yeah.
Card buys, but yeah, that's kind of the goal going forward. We'll see. It's hard to say, right? Because I was thinking about this the other day. A lot of the non-sport stuff that I bought last year at the National, was paying 2 to 5 cents a piece for. But some of those cards I listed for $10. So that's kind of like buying something out of the $2 or $3 bin, right? It's just I got that much better a deal. So it's stuff you should still buy. In fact, you better buy it. If you're going to buy it at $2, you better buy it at 20 cents, right? So I don't know that what I pay for it is as important as what I can sell it for. So yeah, so it's something to think about. The other thing is you can always, if you get a really good deal on stuff, you can always just leave it sit. You don't have to list it right away.
That's true.
So you can kind of leave it sit, run some coupons, get some stuff out of the store, and then you got stuff sitting there and you list it, and you can stay at 60K pretty easily if you want to too. So yeah, and then the 50% off coupon. I might be getting closer to doing that just to get a bunch of stuff moving because, like I said, I have a ton to list. I've done it before; it works really well. I do a 10 card minimum because the whole point is not to give the discount to get buys, but to sell more quantity. So what you end up doing is instead of selling 5 cards for this price, I'm selling 10 cards for the same price. That's how I look at it. So win-win-win, right? Less eBay fees because you're getting those bigger buys. I can ship 10 cards in one envelope, so it doesn't really cost you any extra. It's just the 88-cent 2-ounce stamp. Less supplies, because you're shipping them all together. And then the buyer, gets the cards at essentially half what you were going to list them at. So
yeah,
it's a good thing to do. I definitely want to do something before the National because I intend to pick up quite a bit of stuff there. Give me some capital to take with me. It's definitely something that I'm going to continue to run as well. So kind of my thought with that was every time I touch 60K, just throw out a 50% off coupon.
Yeah.
Sell 4,000 or 5,000 cards and then go back, and hopefully that will sell out some cards that you were having trouble selling, at full price. That's the goal, which did work that way pretty well for me last time. Because you're going to get a lot. What you get with that a lot is people who want multiples of a single player or a single team, right? So you get somebody come in and they're going to buy like a bunch of Pittsburgh Steeler cards. Maybe they're okay with paying this price for this, Terry Bradshaw card, but they don't want to pay this much for a Jerome Bettis card. Well, now they can get them for half price. Now it makes sense for them to throw them all in the cart and buy them.
Right.
And hit that 10 mark. So The big thing with that is you want to make sure you cap what your maximum discount is. So you're not selling like a $500 card at half price, and then they're putting 9 $1.50 cards in there
Yeah.
to get that discount, because you're just throwing a big discount at one card then. So I always, you have to decide what that works as for you, but I always make sure I have a cap in there. So kind of weeds out those throw it in the cart buyers just to get the discount kind of thing.
Right.
Whoa.
Whoa, what's going on there?
My phone holder tipped on
Another
me. Hold on.
tornado?
I guess.
I
That was weird. Never had that
think
one
you just
happen
gave me
before.
vertigo.
Well, I unplugged my lamp yesterday.
Yeah.
It was getting hot for some reason, so.
Well, that's kind of how lights work.
My ring light? Yeah. Yeah, he says you don't want to get stuck with a bunch of one buy orders. Yes, correct. Y'all jinxed me with all the light talk. LOL. My high ceiling light literally just blew out. Gotta get out my step ladder. See,
Oh,
I'm not the only one with light problems. Let's see. Johnny says that was him as well. He's in New York. You can sell them outside the stadium for good money. Yeah, sure you can. That I don't doubt. Do they allow you to do that? You don't have to have a vendor license or anything? That's interesting.
As
Suppose
long as
you're
you
just
don't
kind
be
of
caught, you
standing
can
there
do
with
whatever you
boxes of cards. Yeah.
want.
New York. I'm working here. Table buy at the distillery was epic. Thank you so much. I think so too.
So you posted the second box today? Is that what you
I did.
put out there? Okay.
Yep. And it's longer because it has the first box had one row that was empty. They must have kind of consolidated as they had some sales. I wasn't the first one at the table, so they had sold some. And then so it started with that because I'm like, well, this is the one box that's not full. It makes sense. And then hopefully I can get that one listed a lot quicker and keep working it down. And then I have like some space in one of the rows too. The rest of them are all like pretty much packed. So yeah, I did box 2 today, 5-row. You know, in theory, 7 5,000 count boxes should net you 35,000 cards. But like I said, there were some missing, and some are sleeved, so you know, it eats up a little bit of room. Couple thicker cards. As I was going through the box today, there were Contenders leather cards in there, which I thought that's but they're a little thicker.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's cool.
So I'm figuring I'm probably a little more like 32,000 or something like that. You know, there's probably 2,000 or 3,000 that actually aren't in the boxes. Still a heck of a buy, but and then you get the sleeves, right? So bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And even the boxes, though. I mean, 5-row boxes are what, $10 a piece now or something?
7 something, I want to say.
Yeah, $8, whatever. So you know, 8 times 7 monster boxes that's $56, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I do that math right? 56. You know, when you paid $450 and you got $50 worth of boxes. Yeah. And I use those. I do use them because those, you know, make my dime boxes and stuff. So yeah, it was just couldn't pass that up. It's a no-brainer. And like I said, I grabbed a couple handfuls and I liked what I saw. And then as I started going through it, it's like short prints and, you know, yes, Zach Wheeler didn't really work out, but at least a rookie card. You know, it's at least rookies, right?
Yeah.
You know, vintage in there, minor league stuff. Here's a Manny Ramirez.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina Comics and Cards, minor league cards, pro cards. I've seen these cards before with the yellow. Yeah, so just super, super cool stuff. You know, all bigger names, inserts, you know. Awesome.
Yeah.
I even found some Brady in there. Found a few cards numbered to 50, you know. It's for a penny, come on, you know.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter cards are cheap here in Minnesota. We hate the Yanks. Yeah, I don't have too much, you know. I have to obviously look once in a while to buy my lots, but I pretty much always find them. You know, there's a great part about Derek Jeter. First of all, he played for a long time, and he was good right from day one. You know, basically walked out of the minors and was a major league star on day one. Played for the Yankees, so made a lot of cards on him. And then he played in the years where cards were good, right?
Yeah.
There was a good variety of them and stuff like that. So nice inserts and parallels and things like that. So great player that way. Get the right situation, right stuff at the right time. Charlie, thanks for the top 10 lists. I use them and sell similar listings. That's a
Yeah,
great idea.
That's not a way I thought about, but that's a good use for them as
Yeah, good
well.
strategy.
Yeah, to help you decide which ones to do that with. I think there's a lot of different ways you can use that information. So I'm glad to hear it's helping some people. I know it helps me as well. I 100% feel like I have gotten sales the last couple weeks because of actions I took driven by that data.
Yeah, and I'm glad you do it because I don't want to.
Yeah, that was part of my thought process. I know
Right.
there's a lot of people like Adam that are not going to dig into the numbers. So why
But I
don't I
want the
give
number.
people
But
a
I
video?
want them.
Yeah.
I want the numbers and I'll use them. I just don't want to go get them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what's great. That means that you're providing content that has value, and that's where you get to stick around for a long time.
And it's something I enjoy doing too. I am a data numbers guy. Like I live in spreadsheets all day for the past 25, 26 years. It's just spreadsheet life for me. So if I can combine something I'm doing anyway with something I enjoy, and then create some content to share with others, man, that's a win-win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like I said, it's kind of your niche, right? Nobody else really is doing it. So um, there was a lot of channels for a while that were like, here's the top 10 cards that sold this week, and then put the card and the dollar amount and all that, and no one cares now. I mean, there's nothing breaking records, right? So
Right.
so you have data that is actually like helpful to people who are actually doing stuff now. Like
Yeah.
I watch some of those old videos and I'm like, this is so stupid. Michael Jordan card sold for 10 grand. Who cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
90% of the hobby would never be able to buy that card.
No, it's not.
It also,
There's an entertainment value to it. There's nothing wrong with having a channel that just provides entertainment.
right.
But I don't think I think you and I are very similar that way. That's not either of our goals. We want to try to help and have others help us and sort of build something. I mean, we like to be entertaining. We have our goat and we do it, but
I was gonna say I do like to mix in some fun. Obviously,
sure,
I hang around with a goat that screams all the time.
Right.
If you watched both my content videos this week, you'll see I did a salute to our service members for Memorial Day. I did a little bit of an ode to Bill Walton, who passed this week. So it gives me a chance to really, share some thoughts on that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, and I try to add some entertainment in here and there too. I think everyone likes that. Why not? Don't take yourself too seriously, right?
Right.
So, Joe says, you guys ever get these blank boxes on left and right side of back of 1980s cards? No. I have some 80s cards right here. So, like, here's a 81 Jack Morris. There's no boxes on the back. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to. The Dale Murphy, same thing, nothing on the back. Yeah, you might maybe show us an example or something. No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
My
I can't
guess
say that rings
is,
a bell for me either.
yeah, I would say that there's something wrong with that card. I don't think there's supposed to be black boxes on the back. Blank boxes, excuse me. Dan is here. Evening all. Hope all is well. What's the best card you've come across from the big 30K card buy so far? Oy. I found a Dalvin Cook rookie out of 149. That was a pretty good one. Couple cards numbered out of 50. Not big names, but still. Gosh, biggest. I mean, I sold some already. There were some Colton Cowser in there, Bowman Draft. Um, yeah, I mean, the Tigers. I had some Goodwin Champions Tigers in there. You can get $5-6 a piece for those.
Yeah.
That's pretty good out of a penny box. You know. Yeah, I can't really think of one that just like really stands out as, oh my god, this is awesome.
Right.
$60 card or something like that. I got my half my money back with this one card. Nothing like that. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I'll think about that. Maybe something will pop into my head that I'm not thinking of. Caught me off guard there. You just keep moving like the shirt vendors. Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured it was like tiny cardboard crack deals, every few feet or whatever.
You get to know securities rounds.
Right.
Oh, we got 5 minutes till they come around again. Let's move on.
Yeah. Old Merchants Vintage Sports Cards is here. Problem I had with the 50% off 12 plus under $10 cards. All my goodies he's selling rookies and inserts would be cherry picked. Yes, that does happen. No, that's not how I do mine. I do the 50% off 10 or more. I like 10 because 5, no matter what the thickness is, you can generally always fit 5 cards in a card saver. Sometimes 12 will push it. Now I use it like 6x9s. I could technically increase my number because you can do like 15 or 16 in those pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
But last one I did, I wasn't doing those, so might have to rethink that a little bit. But I don't do it as 50% off only cards under $10. I don't have it set that way. I have 50% off any card, but then I cap the maximum amount of discount. That's all I do.
Same.
So then you can still sell some bigger cards. You can sell some mid-level cards. It's you're right. All your $1.99, mid, prospect cards or whatever don't get gobbled up that you could sell on their own.
Yeah.
You can disclude cards too. So
that's true. You get to choose what's included in the coupon.
Yeah, so you could do the coupon the way you're doing it. It's not a terrible idea. I mean, if it seemed like it was working for you, you could do that and then just say, don't include these types of cards. I don't know, and take those out. I've been at buy 3 get 33% off under $10. It's worked great, and I don't get cherry picked. Well, there you go. Then stick with that. Have you checked out what Croc Cards gets for a 600 count box of junk wax? They sell very well. They got it down to an art.
Really?
I have. They don't get much on them because I think shipping kind of kills that deal a bit. They're also Croc Cards. They have a big name and they have a lot of customers and stuff. I mean, I'm getting to a decent size, but I'm not at that level yet, and I don't know. I don't really want to pick out 600 cards and make a box and do all that and then get like $15 for it, They have employees and stuff that probably just do that kind of stuff all day. So, and I don't have that kind of, I cherry pick the stuff that I buy. I don't have 600 cards. I mean, I have my dime boxes, but I like to take those to shows. I don't have any work in those. I put them on a table. Somebody comes through the stacks and gives me $5-10 for them. Stacks, little stacks of them. Don't have anything to ship. Don't have to pack them up. Don't have, none of that. So I'd rather just continue to refresh some dime boxes. My dime boxes are a bit old. A lot of that stuff I've had in there for a while, so I'm excited to pull some stuff out of these and kind of. That's what these monster boxes are going to be once they're emptied. With stuff that can be listed, they're going to be new dime boxes.
Right.
Just give me some more dime boxes to rotate through or whatever. Because we have a lot of the same buyers that come and buy at our table every show. So that's what we want to do, or what I want to do, excuse me, with that. So, but yeah, lots of cool. I mean, I was really surprised. There's tons of cool inserts in there, tons of numbered cards. I'm not going to throw those in a 600 card box. I can do stuff with that. So most of the stuff in those boxes is stuff I can sell. When scanned. Oh no, I don't get any black box or blank boxes on backs of cards when I scan. I haven't
Oh,
gotten that.
um,
That's what he's asking about. No, I haven't
yeah.
run into that.
I feel like I maybe got that once when I was first setting up. And it cleared it out when I fine tuned my settings, but I honestly don't remember exactly what it was. There's a setting
Margins?
in there to like cover holes or something like that, if I remember right. And I think that's what it is. I will take a look again, and maybe I can put
Oh,
something in Discord.
you're right. That's what it was because it puts punches on it, is
Yeah,
what it is. You're
yeah.
right. I remember that now. Yeah, I don't remember what it is either. If you're in the Discord, well, Joe, I know you're in the Discord. I just posted what all my settings are yesterday, I think. Trying to think of where it was. eBay listing, maybe, channel. Anyway, look in there and take a look at my list, my settings, and maybe just try to copy those because I don't have that problem at all. So, Andrew, super chat. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. We appreciate you. Charlie, what is the most important thing you've learned from Adam? Ooh, this is scary. Uh, Adam, anything learned from a newer seller than you from Charlie?
Yeah. So honestly, I've got a multi-part answer here. That's normal for me. You should expect that by now. Uh, so number one, I would say, by and large, I think Adam would agree with this too. I think I learn a bunch of little things on a regular basis from Adam because we bounce ideas off of each other. We talk about different scenarios pretty frequently. So there's a lot of little situations in this business that I've been able to expedite thanks to Adam because we've had that relationship and conversation constantly ongoing. When I think of big things, there's two things that come to mind.
So you
Number
learned from my
one,
mistakes.
number one is Adam really showed me that I could do this. And Adam's been very encouraging as I started my business. He's pulled back the curtain, shared a lot with me on, when he got started and where he's at and how he got there. So Adam was very instrumental in me taking a few thousand cards in my attic and really turning it into a business, making me take that leap, right? And then the second big thing I've learned from Adam is everybody's got a different path. Adam's at a different place with his store than I am with mine. If I follow all the exact same strategies that Adam's doing right now, I will probably fall a lot and get back up, right? I have to be on my own path with feedback from Adam. It's great to hear what he does, and I can aspire to someday when I'm at 60,000 listings and having those types of problems, maybe I do exactly the same things the same way Adam's doing right now. But right now I have to remember, and Adam has been very transparent and acknowledging of this, that, hey, we're at different stages in our business, right? And that means some things we do have to do different. So Adam prices things a little different than me. Adam doesn't really comp at all. I comp everything. We package things differently. We target different things. All of that is really because I feel we're at different levels in our business. And Adam has helped me see that that's okay.
Yeah, and that was kind of the motivation for doing the show was, um, I was kind of teaching. Charlie was very interested in it, so I was kind of trying to teach him. We went to some shows together, and I saw what he was buying, and I thought, I can probably help him a little bit, with some of that. And consequently, I was learning stuff from him because he's like, "Well, have you ever looked at this?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I've been doing this for a while." You get kind of in your ways, and I thought, well, this is going to have value because we can both help each other out. Um, So I think that's probably the biggest thing I learned from Charlie is to just kind of, okay, don't just settle into this because it's been working or whatever. Maybe look at some new ways. Yeah, and just staying patient with it, looking at data, and the numbers are something that you have to focus some time on. The scanner, and getting into sort of the next level of speed in the business. Also, gosh, I can't even remember her name now. The inventory system I picked up from a newer seller too.
Um, yes. Where's she
I
been?
can't think of her name. She hasn't been on here in forever, unfortunately. But
yes, it was a play on another name.
Yes, it was. And not so good name.
I know. I keep wanting to say the anatomical word instead of the.
That's kind of what's in my head too. But anyway, it's not really relevant what their handle was. So yeah, and that was a newer seller too. That it was like, hey, this is kind of what I do for my inventory system, and I was like, that's exactly what I want to do. Like, it fit perfect for me, and the way I do my inventory, where I have my pull-out drawers and all that, it's perfect for that. So that Charlie has helped me in areas that I don't know a lot about in cards. So NASCAR and wrestling and some of those things, so that I can have some growth and do some expansion into some other things, and keep that growing is great. But the trick to growing is you can't just say, okay, well, I have this at this size now I want to go to this size. Okay, what's all the things that have to get to that size and still be successful? Right.
Yeah.
You can't just say, okay, well, I have Tom Brady's and I do this, and then, okay, well, now I'm going to get this many Tom Brady's, and I'm going to, no, it doesn't grow that way. There's other things that you have to place into that, to properly have a growth that, gives you business, right? Because the whole point of growing is to get more business. So yeah, and I think I've got some extra element of fun. Charlie and I have been friends for a long time, so I like that part. It's fun to have somebody to do this with. Go to shows, kind of say, hey, look what I found here, and kind of give each other a hard time once in a while. That's good. We got the goat. He brought Stuart into the mix. So, and every week he's on the show with me. It's on my channel. He doesn't get viewers from it, and he does it every week because he wants to help the community, and he realizes that my channel has a grab on people that want to do what we want to do, so we can help them, and consequently, like I said, we learn from it too. So it's good for everybody.
Urethra Franklin.
Urethra, that's it. The other thing I got from a new viewer, and actually Charlie almost beat me to the punch on this, was suggesting the Discord. It hadn't really crossed my mind. I don't use Discord for a lot of things. I'm not like, I don't have all the apps, right? I don't Chapsnat. I don't Twatter. I barely, Instagram. I don't do a lot of that type of stuff. So it was good to have somebody kind of suggest that and say, hey, this would be a good idea for our community. And then Charlie and I were like, yeah, we totally need to do this. So, and I think I've got a pretty good handle on it. I was able to build some channels, and we have, I think, good places in there for just about anything you can think of. By the way, this week we just added a card shows channel based on a suggestion of a community member as well, and I think that was a good one. Just so you can kind of share card shows. If you're running a card show, put it out there. Oh, hey, I'm going to be at this card show. We have a channel just to focus on that as well. That's kind of a big thing now, right? I think most of us, if available, are regularly going to card shows. We're using that to pick up inventory, to sell, whatever you're doing there. I think it still matters in our business for sure. It's a big part of it. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Andrew. And again, thanks for the donation. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Dan says, has anyone bought the VIP ticket for the National? Just been debating if it is worth it or not. Do you mind if I take this one, Charlie? You haven't been to one yet.
Yeah, I haven't.
Um, so I've been to quite a few nationals, and I always get the VIP. Here's my take on this, okay? And it's not just the nationals. I've been going to big conventions for many, many years, including like San Diego Comic Con. If you think the nationals big, go to San Diego Comic Con. It'll blow your mind. It's like 3 times the size. Um, but what I've learned is, I guess it depends on your goals and what you're trying to do there, but you really need to take every advantage to give yourself a good experience. Okay. So if you're going there to buy inventory, which is a big motivator for me, I need to get in on that preview night on Wednesday. That's the first crack at the cards. You want to get through those discount boxes. You want to do that stuff. You want to do that on Wednesday. Smaller crowd. It's only a few hours. You can get a good start and get a good base. Pick up quite a bit of stuff. So that to me is probably the biggest advantage to the VIP ticket for me. You do get a pretty nice bag of stuff. Last year there were Gary V Friends short print card, numbered card in each bag, and I got a robot or something. I don't collect any of that stuff. I sell it. But I got a robot card numbered out of 50 or something. I sold it for $250. Like that night, I listed it and sold it while I was still at the show. So that pretty much pays for your VIP ticket right there. Then you get some free autograph coupons. You can always sell those to somebody if you don't want them. There's little promo packs in there. Panini had a rookies promo pack last year. You got a CJ Stroud in there, and usually like the top baseball prospect. And unfortunately, I didn't have Wembanyama in it, but and obviously we won't have Panini packs after this year. But there's usually some of that in there. A few little tools. You do get to a pizza party on Wednesday, and I like that because it's when it's in Chicago.
Because you like pizza.
Who doesn't?
Your favorite thing of it being in Chicago.
Right, and I was just gonna say, now Chicago, it's a 4-hour drive, so go in the morning, you have your pizza, and then you're all set to go right on the show floor, right, for those few hours that night, and you're not starving at least. This one, it's going to be even more necessary. We got a 7.5-hour, 8-hour drive. So go to that pizza party. They had free soda. I shouldn't say free. I'm guessing it's part of your ticket price, but you get cans of soda, some pizza, or tables to sit at. You kind of go through your bags. You usually have a couple of free VIP signers in there. Like one year they had Jan Stenerud and so if you want to stand in line and do some of that, those autographs, you can do that. It gives you a chance to kind of talk to some other collectors, vendors, dealers, whoever's in that VIP area. And then that's a VIP lounge. So anytime during the show, you can always leave, go to that VIP lounge, have a place to sit, things like that. You don't know how much you appreciate that until you're there for 10 hours digging through boxes. Especially when it's at a place where there's not a connected hotel.
Yeah.
So in Chicago, I can actually leave and just go back to my room, but I can't really do that in Cleveland. So I think that even makes a bigger deal. I think there's also a parking pass for this one, right?
Let me see if it says anything. I have my receipt up here. I had to check. Did I get a VIP pass? And I did.
Yeah. Well, VIP is the only way to get into preview night on Wednesday. So for us, like for what we do and why we're going there, like it's a no-brainer. And it's not that expensive. It's not that much more to do the VIP than to buy like single day passes or weekend pass or whatever. So, yeah, I bought the VIP pass. Let's see, when did I start going back to the Nationals? 2017, I think, was when I started going back, and I've been to every one since except for the Atlantic City one. So 4 or 5 of them, and I bought the VIP for every single one. Never regretted it once.
Yeah, I don't see anything about a parking pass on this.
I'm pretty sure you get some kind of parking pass. But anyway, yeah, we'll have to. We're getting closer to that. We're going to have more nationals discussion in this live on the Discord and everything. So we'll cover more of that. But yeah, the VIP does sell out, by the way. So if you are considering it, now that it's basically June, if you're going to do it, you're going to have to do it soon because it will sell out. But yeah, you get a bag, you get a nice lanyard with the VIP on it. you get that early check-in. So like, if a lot of people aren't going till Thursday because they don't have VIP, you gotta wait in that stupid line to scan your digital ticket to get your bag and all that. You do that right away on Wednesday. It's all done. There's not as many people there. It's awesome. The couple of years ago, no, last year this didn't happen, but a couple of years ago, I went to check in. Me and Ethan went together. We went up there, checked in, got our bags, and it had the little autograph tickets. It's only certain signers. Like, you can't go up to Bo Jackson and get a free autograph out of this thing. But if you go to the national website, it tells you which signers you can use your VIP signer tickets for. You get like a little rack of tickets that you can use for those types of signers. I literally went up to the check-in, I got my bag, I walked out, and then there was a guy standing there, and he's like, "Hey, you're gonna use your autograph tickets?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "I'll give you $35 for them." Great, here you go.
Done.
Done. I wasn't gonna use them. $35 back in my pocket instantly, for my VIP cost. So there's some value in there. There's usually like some coupons. So there's one last year where I think I could turn it in for one of the free Garbage Pail Kids fortune teller cards. I was all about that. There's usually some discount coupons for certain vendors, things like that. So, if you're interested in some of that stuff, you can save some money that way too. I got a free pack of like the Bitcoin cards or whatever from that company that makes those. So yeah, there was like for some free slabs in there, not slabs, like magnetics. BCW, they had some new products out. So they put like one of those little plastic frames where you clip the card in it, and you can display it. I actually have my original first press run Atom Bomb card in it. It's in my arcade, so fun way to display it. They put a couple of those in the bag for free. Those things are like $10 a piece, if you're buying them. So yeah. And that was just last year's bag. Every year the bag is a little different. I did make some videos at the National of what was in my bag. I'm sure Charlie remembers that. But you can go back to some of those videos too and take a look at that if you want to kind of see what was in it. But then there's usually like a little stress ball from Topps and a little pennant from, one of the companies. Like, there's some little trinkety things in there too, but you can probably do without most of that. But there's other stuff that's of value. One of the auction companies puts in like this giant auction catalog. Like, 2024, you don't need to make a catalog. Stuff I would never buy, but it's fun to look through, right? Like, they have Babe Ruth autograph bats and they're really nice color photos, and so even some of the periodicals and stuff that are in it, you can kind of look at it and just throw it in the garbage in your hotel. That's what I do. Don't really hang on to that stuff, but they can be fun to look through. So yes, my answer is VIP, worth it. Now, Charlie has never been to a national before. So what do you think about all this?
Yeah, the early access is a big draw. So I guess I'll know better come August, and I'll have a better idea, right, after I've been there. Yep. But for me, the difference in price wasn't huge. So
only like $30 or $40 or something.
Yeah,
right?
Something like that. So based on everything I was seeing and what you've told me, it seemed like a no-brainer. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you're not going for all 5 days, then it might not be worth it.
Sure. Yeah.
That would be probably if you're only going on Saturday, I probably don't need a VIP.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because again, I think the early access is one of the biggest things for what we do. Digging through boxes, early access is key, right?
Last year, Upper Deck had this really cool, like, Michael Jordan through the years pack. And you got like 5 or 6 Jordan cards. One in his Carolina uniform, one in his first warm-ups with the Bulls, and then, different championships. Awesome. And they're Jordan cards, dude. I sold those for like $10 a piece. And there was 6 or 7 of them in the pack. So it's like $70 right there. And if you play your cards right, pun intended, and you're at the VIP party and you're sitting around kind of making some friends with people, you can probably get some of their freebies out of their bag if they don't want them. You can be like, oh man, I really like these Jordan cards. It's like, dude, if you don't want your Jordan cards, I'll take them, or I'll trade you my autograph tickets for your Jordan cards.
Yeah.
You pretty much have to do it that night because that's the only night that everybody's going to have their bags and they're sort of moving all this crap. But there's a lot of people who go to this show that are not doing what we're doing. They're going there because they collect 1952 Topps baseball, and that's it. They're looking for a few cards. They probably don't want the Jordan freebie cards. What are they going to do with it? Maybe they don't want the Panini pack or the ticket to wild card where you get a free spin on the prize wheel kind of thing. Like, they probably don't want that stuff. So I scored, a few of those extras of those, just kind of talking to people, and they didn't want them. I took them. Some people will just leave that stuff on the tables. You just grab what you want. So you can kind of triple quad up your VIP bag if you do it correctly, and get some nice freebies out of it.
So you're that guy that's just kind of like lingering around the tables, waiting for them to walk away.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've been going to conventions. I've been going to conventions since I was 20 years old. I went to Wizard World for 17 years straight, when that was a good show. Then I went to C2E2 for like 11 or 12 years straight. I've been to San Diego Comic-Con. I've been to 4 Star Wars celebrations. Those are huge events, 100,000 people. Even planned a good chunk of one of them when it was in Chicago. So yeah, you have to. There's a lot of expenses in going to places like this. I mean, we're driving; it saves you some money, but you have hotel, you got gas, you got I eat every time you're there. All these things. If you do a few of those little extra things, you can kind of cover most of your expenses. Pick up a couple of free packs. A couple of years ago, one of the Panini rookie packs had Anthony Edwards rookies in it. Whenever he was a rookie, I don't remember when it was 2021,
something like that. Yeah.
So anyway, I got like 4 or 5 packs of those from other people because they're like, I don't know who Anthony Edwards is. I sold all of those when he was hot a couple weeks ago, like $8 a piece.
Yeah.
So I had to hold them for a bit. They didn't sell right away, but I had Zion Williamson. Those sold right away. I mean, back then he was still hyped, right? So. Yeah, there's value in the VIP for sure. So, and very important, I don't know why I forgot this, but you also get in a half hour early on the other days.
Yeah.
So instead of going in at 9, you can get in or 10. I think 10 is regular time, 9:30 is early. And again, that half hour matters. It allows you to get through whatever you got to get through in the show floor to get to the place you need to be.
Sure.
Before everyone else gets in.
Start digging.
Yep. Now, there's plenty of VIPs, too. It's not like just you and 2 other people are walking through, but it does, like Saturday when 50,000 people show up, at least it's only 10,000 of you going in at first.
Yeah.
And you can kind of get back to because there'll be like a vendor area with a bunch of, 10-cent dealers, stuff we like, but it might not be right when you walk in. So it kind of gives you that chance to sort of get to where you want to be before mad rush happens. And you can get to the boxes right away. So you're not standing there waiting for your turn to get the boxes while everything else gets bought up. So you get in a half hour, you get in for a half a day on Wednesday that nobody else does. You get in a half hour early Thursday, half hour early Friday, half hour early Saturday, and a half hour early on Sunday. That's fairly good value right there.
Yeah.
Because you don't really need to be at the show until 7 o'clock at night every night. But if you're doing what we're doing, you better get your ass there in the half hour early time. You know what I'm saying? Like the priority is to have that earliest spot. Because the dealers will like refresh boxes and stuff, from day to day because they want to make sure they continue to get business. And if they sell through a lot, sure, they'll just put more boxes out. So
right.
Just because you went to that dealer on Friday and bought a bunch of good stuff doesn't mean they don't have stuff on Saturday. So, did we answer that? Did I answer it to death?
I think so.
Okay, cool. Glad I was able to share that Scott Hall Razor Ramon story with Hacksaw Jim Duggan at the Brown County Arena. Yeah, I love listening while listening, reading stories like that. It's fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, experiences are the best. Have you had any problem? Oh boy, Space 99 Yak is here. Have you had any problem? I can tell already on this question. With eBay tracking saying out for delivery when it arrives in the destination city and saying delivered when it reaches the local post office, customer saying card wasn't received.
All the time.
Yep, pretty much every day. So there is, it's gotten better, believe it or not, it's better. Standard delivery was terrible at first. Everything said delivered and nothing was delivered. And so it's an internal scan system between eBay and the Postal Service. It's not the same system the Postal Service uses. And they misscan the stuff all the time. And sometimes what you'll have, because it runs through a scanner. It's not like a guy there with a gun, right?
Yeah.
So it runs through the scanner when it goes to get on a delivery truck, and it just says delivered. And well, maybe that truck isn't going out today, or it's for tomorrow's run or whatever. It says delivered. Customer sees delivered. They go, it's not in my mailbox. And to their defense, sure, if it says delivered, I'd expect it to be there, right? I mean,
Right.
That makes sense. But yeah, best you can do, respond to them and say, yep, we see this all the time. It'll be delivered tomorrow or the next day. If it's not there by such and such day, contact me and let me know, and I'll message the post office. But yeah, mail is a pain in the butt part of what we do. You have to work with it.
I kind of have a script in my head now. Every time I get that message that I go through, hey, sorry to hear there's a misscan on your item or a delay. Typically, what I've seen in my experience is that within 2 to 3 mail days, the item shows up. I'd like to check in with you every day to see if it's arrived. If we don't have it after 3 days, then we can escalate to the next step, and I'll have you open a card did not arrive case, and then we can get eBay involved to see if we need to get you a refund or whatever. But I think I've had one in a year that didn't eventually show up in a few days. So it's pretty common, and it's kind of the same situation that happens over and over again. It happens so much that the card shows up that I would question more the one buyer that says, nope, it never got here, because so often it shows up within 3 days.
And honestly, if it says delivered, you're done with your part. You don't even have to prove it. So if they try to file a claim and it says delivered, you're going to win. So
yep.
If like Charlie said, you obviously don't want to do that to a customer if you feel like they didn't get the card. But consequently, if you feel like they're just telling you they didn't and they did, you can be done with them because it says delivered. That's it.
Yeah.
So if they want to make a bigger issue from there, if they didn't get it, they can contact the Postal Service. They can try their avenues. Here's the other cool thing. When you're using eBay standard delivery, it's insured. So if it doesn't get delivered and you refund the customer and it shows that there was tracking, like you did ship it, all you have to do is go to the PIP form, partial, what is it called again? Postage, something, I don't know. PIP, it stands for something.
Never
I can't
used
remember
it. I don't know.
But anyway, you go put the information in there. It's a really simple online form to fill out, and then the next day in your PayPal account, you'll get the postage back. So, no harm, no foul. Keith All is here. What's up, guys? Great buy on the monster boxes, Adam. Thank you so much. Behind on some vids, but I hope to catch up in the next few days. Well, there's going to be plenty. I'm going to try to make another monster video tomorrow. I had some errands to run with my parents today, but I'm kind of free tomorrow, other than I gotta get the kid to soccer on time. But yeah, so plan to keep making more. They're going to be long. Takes a lot of film to get 5,000 cards looked at. But yeah, enjoy it.
Film?
Enjoy it. I did.
Nobody uses film anymore. What is this, the 1970s with your 35 millimeter?
I didn't mean film in the physical sense. I mean film, like you're filming a video. People still say filming a video.
I know, but the way you delivered it, it was like, I'm sitting there with my crank rolling on that.
I'll tell you, some days when I work with it, that feels like it would be the better way to go. Maybe it'll work better. I've had people open item not delivered cases and then a day or two later close them because they received a card. That happens too. Yep.
Yeah,
I'll get that too.
I try to encourage them not to open it right away because
Mhm.
this is not uncommon.
Right.
Be patient; it'll show up.
I've even had that where it's like a lot later. Like I'll have somebody message me because trust me, a lot of the customers know this happens too. If they're
Yeah,
not probably just buying one card from you on eBay and that's it. They probably have other transactions. But I've had customers too. They're like, I gave it some time, but it's been 10 days and it says delivered and it's not here. And I'll say, yeah, and boom, the 2 hours later, they'll be like, oh, of course, now that I said something, here it is. So yeah, it's just the nature of the beast. Got to run through the system and get to the door. So Joe says it's funny as it only shows up on those cards and not others. I will check your settings to see if it helps. Thank you guys. Yeah, otherwise message me tomorrow and then go. I can't do this on a live show with everybody else, but message me tomorrow and I can take a look in the settings. I'll be using a scanner tomorrow anyway, so I'll be on there doing stuff. And I'll see if I can get you through it. But I remember that, Charlie, because you remember it says hole punch is what it's called. So don't look for like square boxes or something like that. In the settings, look for hole punch.
Yeah, and I think it has something to do with the image design, like the contrast, lights and
'Cause
darks, or something that it starts to think it needs it.
Yeah, I think it's where it has like where it forms the boxes, like the black parts or
Yeah.
whatever. Because most vintage cards have some sort of box, to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think you need to punch something there, I guess. I don't know.
Yep. But you should be able to turn that off, and I don't think you'll see that again.
Yep, I've never had it happen once. So definitely it's something you can get to go away. And I believe you're on the 8170, right? Because if you're not, then we don't know what we're talking about.
Well, it's not the 8170 that does that. It is the PaperStream capture software. So.
Well, that's true. But most people are using PaperStream with 8170.
True. Yeah.
Because Epson, I think, has their own. One of the other scanners has their own capture software too. But yeah, anyway, you're right. Correct. If you're using, because we had somebody who, I actually solved a tech problem. Can you imagine that? But we had somebody who was like, I can't get this thing scanned. And I said, well, you need to use the PaperStream, download that, and then they had no problems. So,
right.
Yeah, that's definitely the place you want to go to scan the cards. So something funny, since we're talking about this, I go to pull up PaperStream to scan, and normally I have it just on the simple scan or the quick scan mode.
Okay.
So I literally just put the cards in and I hit scan, and all my settings are there, done. For some reason, I must have hit the switch modes button. I don't know why, but it went to I had to choose formats and all that, and I'm like, what is going on? Where's my settings?
I use that setting.
Yeah. No, I use simple scan. Screw that. I scan them all the same way every time. I don't need nothing else. So.
Yeah, I was using it that way when I was experimenting with different types of cards. Now that I've kind of zoned in on exactly what I'm going to scan, I could probably go back to the simple scan.
Yeah, I don't. I pretty much keep it to paper. I don't even scan acetate cards. I don't like how they come out on it, so I still photograph those. But it's whatever your preferences are.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the settings, I can send you my settings and you can try those. Feel free to tweak them from there. You might want a larger border. You might not want the white around the black border. I don't know. You have to do what works for you. I also add the banner at the bottom of my cards, and Charlie doesn't. He doesn't care for that image that way. I like branding. Branding is huge to me.
I don't care for that.
Right. And that's fine. There's, it's not a problem either way, but that's something you have to decide is how you want to use it. When would you guys say it's time to get an LLC? N.A. Kelly Collectibles is on here. Thanks for joining us. It's never too late. Honestly, it doesn't cost much. You can go on the IRS website yourself at home and generate an LLC registration with the IRS. And then if you're a sole proprietor LLC, you still just file your taxes, so it doesn't really change anything that way. But that being said, I am not a tax professional, and those questions would be best suited to talk to a tax person, a CPA.
Now, if I recall, you've been an LLC longer than you've been selling cards because you had other businesses that you did it with.
Yep.
I do not have an LLC. What would you say are the benefits in the card business for that?
Not a whole lot. If you're going to be a single employee, if you're going to hire employees, everything changes then.
Because it's really about your risk, right?
Yeah, it's just it's a way to separate your business activity from your personal activity. It does look more professional. You say you're an LLC, people think, oh, this is a real business. It's not Charlie's Cards, right?
It also looks more professional and fancy if I put Esquire at the end of my name, but I'm not.
It does. That's you can start doing that. Stuart Esquire.
Yeah.
But yeah, it LLC stands for Limited Liability Corporation. So the point is that let's say you shipped out a card and somebody's baby ate it and choked on it, and now they want to sue you because you sent the card, or the envelope you sent had tasty glue in it and you shouldn't use that, and now they want to sue you. It's a sue happy country, fortunately. So it just kind of helps you getting away from that. Now they can still sue, but they'd be suing the LLC.
The assets of the business, not taking your house.
Yeah. Right. So your business assets would have to handle that. You could file bankruptcy with the LLC and get out of it and things like that. So it's just a layer of protection from your personal assets. Then you can go set up a business account, which is really what you should do with your funds that you're getting from this. And then just move them from a business account to a personal account if you want to use that account to do, if you're just collecting the money for you and you're using it to do whatever with, pretty easy transition from there. So yeah, I don't think you have to be a certain size or sell a number of cards or, anything to get an LLC. Kind of whatever you want to do it, really, you can do it. So yeah, I've used mine for years and years and years doing all kinds of different things. Urethra, correct. It's funny how they remember we don't. What the heck's wrong with us? I bought a VIP ticket to last year's National. Biggest tip is don't open any of the goodies they give you before you see what things worth on eBay. Yeah, because a lot of it is like little packs, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess I could have sold them as whole packs, but I like selling single cards. That's what I do. So I open everything. I opened the Jordan pack. I opened the Nationals VIP Panini pack. The Gary V card literally just came in a top load, so that was not like even in a pack or anything. And I literally just listed it on eBay that night and I shipped it out when I got home.
Yeah, I was curious about that because I'm a ripper. I why keep the pack when it feels so good to rip it open and see what's in there? I find it very therapeutic. I love to rip packs and see what's in there. Even if I rip a pack of some low end, offering like Sport Kings or Sage or something, just the act of ripping makes me feel good sometimes. So I have a hard time keeping anything to sell as a complete pack.
And I knew the Jordan pack was in there. You're pretty safe opening an entire pack of Jordans. You're probably going to do okay with those cards individually. The pack isn't really going to net you a lot more money. I did get a giant. I should almost show you this. In one of my VIP bags, I got this giant Jordan Goodwin card.
An oversized?
Yeah, it's like it's bigger than a 5x7. It's not quite an 8x10, but it's pretty big.
Nice.
I haven't done anything with it yet because it's just like, I don't know, it's just cool. I have a big Jordan card, I don't even know what kind of holder you put it in or anything, but yeah, it's a, there's some really kind of weird things that come with it. There were BCW had just come out with top loads, I think, last year. So there's a pack of top loads in there. Who doesn't need a pack of top loads?
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the companies with their little coupon, they put it in a card saver or something just to keep it nice and throw it in the bag. Well, you can use the card saver. So there's all kinds of little bits in there that
maybe we can find a pack of elite card savers in there this year.
Right. Well, maybe if they're getting bigger. Here's an example of something. I got this piece of the game little pouch, and it has a coin in it.
I like coins.
a QRC code for that booth, and then on the other side it has the piece of the game logo, and it is serial numbered. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, one of the tickets we got was, I don't know, a spin or a drawing or something at this one booth, and I didn't win nothing, or I got like a bouncy ball or something lame. Ethan won a Upper Deck NHL like rookies set, something they clearance at Target for like $5-10, whatever.
Okay.
He didn't want it, so he just gave it to me, and I'm like, well, they're all rookies, so I'll list them, and I sold all of them pretty much. I think I have like 2 left. Like a 26 or 28 card set or something. I just threw them up there at $2-3 a piece, and
yeah,
$40 I made off of that, and now it's free. So yeah, it's good. I would think too, they're like this year, especially since it's not connected to hotels and that, there might be like coupons for certain restaurants and yeah, stuff like that. There's food. I think there's gonna be food trucks there, Dan said. So maybe it'll be like, buy a burger, get a fry, food truck coupon stuff.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, you might even save, on some of that stuff because you got to eat at some point. So. All right, Davis Epling is here. He says, if you are a top rated seller, do you get 10% off of the final value fee percentage, or is the final value fee 30 cents, 10% of 10% of that? One of my friends was saying their fees are only 2.35. I don't know what that. Oh, yeah, I don't know what that means. So you get 10% of the final value fee. So your final value fee, by the way, is not 30 cents. 30 cents is the financial transaction fee for getting the payment. Your final value fee, let's say it's a $5 card, you're paying 12%, so it's what, 60 cents, right?
Sure.
See, you do stats, but I can do math really easily. So it would be 60 cents. You save 10% of 60 cents. So you get 6 cents. That make sense?
Yeah, and it's more of a kind of a refund process too, right? Like you get 10% back.
Right. So when you go to like your fees on eBay, it'll say, okay, here's your promoted fee. If you have that, it'll say 30 cents for the financial transaction. 60 cents for your final value fee, whatever else you got in there, it'll have all those listed, and then it'll say, right under that final value fee, it'll say top rated seller discount thing or whatever.
Yeah.
10%.
And
then it'll have a plus 6 cents on there.
Yeah. So to avoid any confusion, it's not like you get that back in a refund at the end of the month. It's an instant refund on that transaction.
Yeah. Yep. So all those numbers go through, and then your bottom line is what they send to your checking account.
Yep.
So the way I look at it, and the reason I do it, I know Bo and I are very different on this one. He's like, I don't want to have to ship the same day. Like, that's too much pressure. The way I look at it is, first of all, I do this full time, so there's really no reason I shouldn't be shipping every day. It should be just a normal part of operation. But I look at it like, if I wait 3 days to ship, guess how many I have to ship now? Because I kind of do that with weekends as it is. And that's a lot on a Monday. So I don't want to do that all the time. If I have 30 orders from yesterday, there's no reason I can't ship those. So that's one reason I do it. The other reason is eBay charges enough as it is. If you have an opportunity to get some of their money back, get some of that money back. Because
for sure,
when you're doing volume, that adds up. Like, they're taking a good chunk of your money. And even if it just covers my, shipping supplies for that, in the example I used, okay, 60 cents, I get 6 cents back. Well, for 6 cents, I can cover my envelope, I can cover a penny sleeve, I can cover mostly cover an elite card saver,
a label.
So yeah, a label, 1 cent for a label. Well, actually, I don't pay anything for labels, so even better. But yeah, it covers it just, even if it just covers some of your expense, it has value. So Top Rated Seller Plus is a great program, in my opinion. Yeah, you have to offer free returns. And what are the two requirements? Oh, and you have to do 1 day shipping.
Yeah.
That's it. As long as you offer those two things on your listing, and obviously you're a top rated seller, then you get top rated seller plus benefits. To some degree, now I have no proof of this, but to some degree, I feel like eBay quietly promotes top rated seller plus sellers because they want that 1 day shipping, they want that extra because you have to meet all the customer service requirements, to be top rated, top seller, all that. So it behooves them as a more customer driven company to make sure that I do what I have to do for those customers, um, and get that discount. So I believe they actually help promote you a little bit better that way. I have no proof of that. It's just we have to try to figure out what eBay wants us to do because they don't actually tell us. And to me, that seems like something they would want us to do. Does that work?
Yeah, they're going to promote people that make them more money.
And that doesn't cause them customer service issues because that's a lot of crap they got to deal with. And they're not good at it either. So, on top of it all, they don't want to do it and they're not good at it. So if they can make that go away and push the sellers out, that will keep those situations from coming. I honestly believe they're going to promote your listings. There's got to be some little tweak in the algorithm somewhere that says top rated seller plus bonus. Yep, Joe has the 8170, so yep, you should be good. Scott is here. Hi, Scott. My sales have been terrible for a few weeks, maybe 2 a day with 3.6 listings. Only spike I had was some Anthony Edward cards I had. Yeah, I think we kind of touched on this at the beginning of the video. I think it's been down for everybody, at least quantity-wise. Dollars have been better than I thought they were. Once I looked at my chart, I'm like, ah. But I think it's because I haven't seen like the 10 and 20 card bigger robust orders. It's been a lot of singles and triples and whatnot. Yeah, we're again, we touched on this earlier. We're kind of in that little bit of slumpy time of year for cards. May and June are not very good. Then July, August, September are really good. November struggles a little bit because people are spending their money on Christmas presents and holidays and all that. And then December, they forgot to buy from somebody, so now they go to eBay and buy a card.
Yeah.
And then December, January, and February, and really to the middle of March are fantastic. Those are going to be your best months of the year. April can be okay for a little bit, but then it sort of hurts a bit because people pay taxes and like there's just these things that happen that put it into some cycle. Now if you're seeing like a giant dip, like you're 80%, if you're 20% down from what you were selling, that's okay. If you're 80% down, you might need to go back and look at some of your pricing, what cards you're selling. You have coupons, you have promotions. Are you doing everything you can to get sales? Because you might have to kind of look at changing something.
Yeah, I will say though, the last 3 weeks I've been trending sales data. All three of the big three overall sales numbers are down consistently.
Yep.
So it's not just your store; it's the market.
Yeah, correct. Early July time is really when it starts kicking up because people buy into football. Football is by far the best selling cards. Okay, everybody just needs to understand that that's the truth. It is. If you go look, ask Charlie. He'll do some stats on it.
I don't think you want to ask me that.
and that's when it kind of ramps up. Well, early baseball, like spring training baseball is quite a boom too. I would say probably those are the two best.
By volume, baseball sells twice as many cards as football.
Yeah, but that's just because you have more baseball listed. That doesn't. If you look at overall sales, football is the dominant one.
That's what I'm talking about. Overall eBay sales, baseball cards are 2-1 over football.
I still think that's skewed though because I think that's mainly due to vintage.
Baseball.
I think it's due to vintage.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to dig a little deeper into the number of sellers and the number of active listings and get some comparisons.
yeah, and I think if you took vintage out and you just went modern, I think football would easily beat baseball. But anyway, regardless, yeah, that early July time is, everybody starts buying these quarterbacks and looking at, those rookies. There's good products coming out, and the Nationals coming, all that stuff, and it really starts moving everything again. Actually, I sell more basketball I think in the summer than I do any other time, which is really weird. But basketball's not a huge seller for me anyway. Yeah, because I'm selling. That's when like Jordan sells and Rodman sells, and both, um, more of those legendary players. I think do better that time of year.
Okay.
Because there isn't really new basketball products out, so people aren't buying the new rookies, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I could be way off track, but to me, how I counter all of this is I try to have a really big selection of non-sport. So, and Garfield cards sell you.
I sold my first Brockham Rock card today.
Oh, what?
Brockham Rock cards.
I don't know. Oh, rock card. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I sold a Slayer card today.
Nice. Yeah, when I buy those, I pretty much buy them because of the stickers. Those freaking Iron Maiden Eddie stickers are, those are amazing.
And Vic for Megadeth.
Yeah, Megadeth. Yep. And there's a Winger one too. Anyway, I buy them mainly for those, and then what I do is the base cards I put them by band, and then I sell them in little lots by the band.
Okay.
And that's done pretty well for me. One of the only times where I actually just sell lots. That and like Ninja Turtles base cards and Dick Tracy base cards, Flintstones base cards. Those are really tough to get good sales on individual cards. Turtles, maybe you could, but then some of them for sure you can. But
right.
For the most part, making little 10, 12 card lots for $3 is a great way to go. So now there's some exceptions. So some of the Brockhams, the Angus Young cards, I always sell those individually. The Iron Maiden cards you can sell individually. The or maybe that's the Pro Set music I'm thinking of. But those Legends ones, the like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that, I think those are Pro Set though. But yeah, anything where it's parallels and inserts, stickers, that kind of stuff, those you sell all those individually.
Right.
So you can even take like if it's a really nice card of like Ozzy Osbourne, with Black Sabbath, you could do that. Some of those really, really big famous musicians that stand on they're in bands, but they stand on their own.
Right.
An Axl Rose card you could sell on its own. Just kind of use your experience with music and pop culture and famous names, and those you could kind of split out.
You got Winger, Skid Row in there. You got Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Slayer, Anthrax was in the set I got. So there's some, like the lead singers are always the most popular, followed by the lead guitarist. And then you got the bassist and the guitarist that maybe 20% of the people will seek out.
Right. A couple of drummers. Trying to think of who. Like the Motley Crue drummer. What's the Motley Crue drummer's name?
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee. You can sell his stuff individually. They're just kind of use your experience of what matters pop culture, and you can kind of go from there on those. Being a TRS also puts you higher in search returns. I saved $500 last year to pay for my store and some supplies. Yeah, I never really added up my entire top rated seller plus savings, but I know it's fairly significant. I mean, I sell a lot of cards, and the numbers are going up. So the savings is more and more every year. The other reason I like it, and not that I should have to have this, but it is a motivator for me to stay a top rated seller. Otherwise, what the hell's the benefit to it?
Yeah.
I want money off. If I don't get money off, I don't I don't need you. So to me, it's like, okay, I got to make sure I watch my categories, and I got to make sure I offer my 1 day shipping and actually get it out on time, because that counts against you. And like it keeps me providing the service and running my business the way it really should be run anyway, because I get paid
Right.
extra to do that. um, Even if you look at it as it helps me offset my promotions fees, because people hate paying promotions fees. Well, if you're getting some back on your final value fees, okay, well, that covers some of your promotion expense. So there's a few different ways to look at it where it makes you feel good doing it that way. But I love shipping every day. A day during the week might be slower. Well, great. It takes me 10 minutes. I get everything packed up. Here's the key. The requirement is that you have the label printed within a business day. You don't have to bring it to the mailbox. Like me, I have to run my stuff. My postal person is not, I don't give her anything. But I could print all my orders on Tuesday and just leave them there until Wednesday, print my orders from Wednesday, and then just drop them all off on Wednesday. Doesn't have to be in the mailbox the same day. So you just simply have to print the label and let them know that, your card's ready to go. So
yeah, that's a great point, because I used to get really stressed out when I'd go up north. I'm like, oh, what if I get a sale, Friday night that I have to ship on Saturday? Well, I do get some sales Friday night after I go up, and I don't have, all my equipment and all my cards. And what I do is I do a PDF print label on my phone, email it to myself so I remember as soon as I get home Sunday, print the actual label, put it on an envelope, and send it out.
yep. So you're still doing it within 1 day. Now, what you're talking about doesn't matter anyway, because it's one business day. So any sale you would get on a Friday night doesn't have to go out till Monday anyway.
Yeah, I get
For top
sales
rated
on
sellers.
Fridays that have to go on Saturday. I know you've said that before, but the print label buy is often on Saturday.
No, it should never be.
Saturday sales I get till Monday.
I've never had one that says you got to ship it on Saturday. Never.
Yeah.
Anything
Well, I
that
also
sells.
had a USPS mail pickup on Memorial Day, which is
Yeah.
unusual. So I guess I get the weird stuff.
No, and that's fine. You can mail it on Saturday, but you aren't required to. Anything you sell on Friday does not have to ship till Monday. And in this last week's case, anything I sold on Friday, I didn't have to ship till Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
maybe they don't dock you for it, but I will say I look at the, when you look at your sold cards, it has the print label buy, and it says Saturday for me.
yeah, that's not the one that matters. The category that matters is, let's see. I don't think it has. I have to look at it on my list to make sure I read it right. I have offers. Your print labels and ship within 24 hours. That's the category you want to look at. It's on your dashboard. And those are by business day.
That would make sense.
So yeah, for top rated seller plus, those are your requirements. Let's see. Scott has been trying to diversify his list, such as 10 basketball, 10 football, 10 non-sport, vintage, etc. Sometimes I notice if I stick to listing a particular card issue at once, I get more multi-quantity sales. Well, that makes sense. If you're listing more of the same card that somebody wants, odds are you're going to sell more. So, yeah, if that's working that way for you, go ahead. I kind of do that. So when I'm listing, I don't want to go change the sport in each listing and all that. When I'm listing on my phone, that is, not scanning. What I'll do is I'll go through a stack like this. Like these are, it's probably a bad example because those are scannable. Let's say these cards are all not scannable, right? So I go, okay, basketball, basketball, basketball. All right, I'll list those first. Here's a couple baseball. Here's a couple football. And I kind of do them by sport that way just because it makes it quicker to list too. So I don't know that I necessarily notice I get more sales if I just list basketball. But I have 40,000 listings. So most of the time what I'm selling is not the thing I just listed. that changes quite a bit as you have more listings. You're going to have stuff that, like, at this point, I'm like, man, I have 6 drawers of bagged cards. Like, almost all my sales should be out of bags, and it's still like half and half
Yeah.
every time I sell, because anything before December of last year is in a drawer. It's not in a bag. So now those drawers are getting sloppy, and I'm getting more space. I'm selling that down, which was kind of what my goal was.
Yeah.
But I thought at this point I'd be like, oh, I'm at 80% bagged cards and 20% non-skewed cards, which suck. They suck to pull. They're getting a lot easier to pull now because I don't have as many to dig through. But yeah, so just because you listed something now doesn't mean it has a better chance to sell than something you listed 2 years ago.
Right.
I don't buy that for a second. They kind of tell you that's the case. And odds are you're getting in front of more eyes with a new listing. That's why I do the end listing sell similar. But it's not a guarantee. I have stuff that I listed 2 years ago. I'm like, man, that card was still there. I thought I already sold that. I'm thinking, okay, well, good. I sold it now. And random weird stuff. So I don't think what you're listing right now, like, totally changes your sales dynamic. Especially, like I said, as you get to more listings. Someone who wants 6 cards from a set for an issue, yeah, it's possible. And like I said, if that's working for you, then do it that way. But again, I kind of like accidentally on purpose do that anyway. So like when I go to the scanner, like I have all these 88 Topps football, like I'm going to scan all these together. So it just kind of happens naturally that way. Like some of these, I have like 4 copies of the Stickerson card. I have a bunch of these Clay Matthews, Sam Mills rookies. Remember Sam Mills?
Yep.
Here's some William Fridge Perry. I got a ton of those. So I'll scan all those in together. Now these are vintage, so I scan them in, not a quantity listing. But yeah, when you're listing, you should kind of list them in like groups because it's just going to save you time for listing anyway.
Yeah, it does.
So. All right, Space 99 Yak. I bought a FI. Oh, this is a tech question. This is going to be you, Chuck. I bought a FI 6130 scanner and it was compatible with my Chromebook. So I bought a cheap laptop and was able to scan cards. Now I'm getting an error message from Card Dealer Pro. What's the error message?
Yeah.
Literally, Card Dealer Pro, all you're doing is taking your JPEGs and throwing it in there. It doesn't really have that much to do with the scanner, to be honest with you.
Well, it would be a driver issue. Compatibility with
the driver.
But Chromebook is Windows. So
no, Card Dealer Pro doesn't have a driver. Just the scanner does.
The software has the driver, I think.
Really?
Yeah, don't you remember the first day you got to download all that stuff?
The only thing, I mean, okay, this is all, and you're smarter. That's why I'm having you do this. I go to Card Dealer Pro, I click on the add pictures, and I throw my JPEGs in there. That's literally all I do with the stuff from the scanner.
Well, now, yeah, but you had to set it all up the first day.
So you're saying this person hasn't even gotten it to work yet. I thought what they were saying is now I'm getting an error message.
Yeah, and that may happen as they update the driver, but don't update each driver. So there's a Twain driver for Windows, and there was another one for Mac.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm not techie enough to know exactly what Chromebook runs off of, but I would guess that at some point there was an update that caused a compatibility issue.
Sure.
So the first thing any tech person would probably recommend is, well, did you try to uninstall and reinstall everything? Which is probably where I would direct you right now. If that doesn't resolve it, contact Card Dealer Pro support team. You can do that off their website. There's some help resources. Explain to them what you're using, what you're experiencing. They'll probably want to see that error and see what they can tell you. Now, I will tell you that so far experience has been that people that are on a Mac they're kind of like, yeah, we can make it work, but we really want you on Windows. So you may get that kind of direction that, oh, well, it really isn't optimized for a Chromebook. Hopefully not, but just be prepared. They may take you down that path.
So I guess I'm glad I took the path we took. I wanted to go with Car Dealer Pro. They suggested the 8170, so that's what we bought.
Yeah.
I use a Windows PC. It's like I feel like there's been a lot of issues with other people.
Yeah.
Using different scanners and different platforms and stuff, and I'm glad we took a path that we know works.
Yeah.
Here's
what I can say though. Alex at Car Dealer Pro has been super helpful.
Yep.
Their customer service is really great. So if they can help you, I believe they absolutely will.
Yep. They might not be familiar with your scanner, but they'll definitely be familiar with the software and the error messages. And so if that's the issue you're really having, hopefully they can get you over that hill.
And I don't think there's an issue with compatibility with your scanner, because any of the Ricoh scanners, I believe it should work fine.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's more about the Chromebook.
Isn't Chromebook Windows, or is that Android? Is that like an Android software?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't use one.
Yeah. I don't either.
I know I bought them for my kids and they hate them.
Yeah, I don't really like stuff that goes outside of Windows, to be honest with you. I don't want an Android computer. I certainly don't want anything Apple. I don't want Mac. I don't want none of that. A Chromebook. I buy my Asus. I love my Asus products. And that's kind of where I land.
Oh, I'm jumping ahead, but I see Space 99 Yak further explained. So he bought a cheap laptop with Windows 10.
Okay.
So if it hasn't been working since you switched devices, then I think it's definitely you've got to download a different driver, because there are multiple drivers depending on which operating system you're working with.
And I agree with you on that one. Yes, it's got to be that. Almost there. Hopefully, I can figure out this weekend and start scanning. Photos are a pain.
Not to Adam, he can list like nobody else on his phone. I don't know how he does it. He's like a warlock with his laptop phone.
Yeah, it's like anything, you get faster at stuff the more you do it. eBay has really improved the app quite a bit. A lot of it just pre-fills with AI description. You don't have to take any time to do. I basically just hit all my buttons, take my photo. I don't crop. I don't have to do any of that. I just take my photos, hit my few buttons of stuff that I have to, clarify, post. So less than 35 seconds probably at this point. I can list.
I will say going back to our earlier discussion, if you are listing cards from the same set in like a sequence, that makes it really easy on the phone, because it's literally list sell similar.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my point earlier, is like, that's why I sort them when I'm listing with my phone, especially. Because anything that can make that easier and faster, all for it. Now, I don't know if you saw the latest eBay improvement, but when you go to because I use my phone when I'm filling orders, I go to my cabinet with my phone and start pulling up the paid orders. Now, if I click on the item, it pulls up a nice big picture and it says what it was and how many quantity they ordered. Love it. That's helpful, because sometimes like that picture gets kind of cropped, or which copy it is. Does it have the little spot here versus this, copy doesn't have that, whatever. Love that. The other thing is, and maybe you guys don't face this because you don't have as many at a time, but I would have like 60, 70 orders at a time. And if I would try to go to a specific one and then leave it, go back to my list of orders, boom, it refreshed and went all the way to the top. And I have to scroll back down to where I was. It doesn't do that anymore. It leaves it right where it is when you go back. So for me, for order filling, those are two great improvements. So I do definitely keep working on it. It's not perfect, but it's decent. Scott says, yeah, I've never had a Saturday mail day either. It always says Monday. Yeah, you won't.
Yeah,
Saturday's not a business day.
I have to look closely again, but I know we've talked about this a couple of times, and I kept getting surprised because I would go sell something on a Friday, and it would expect me, at least the sold listing would say, print that label or ship by Saturday.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, yeah, you're definitely not looking at the right one because that's not doesn't do that. Dan says any sale on Friday for me doesn't need to be shipped till Monday. So same thing.
Yeah.
He says unless it's before 2 a.m. on Friday. Now there's a catch to that because it depends on the time zone you're in, right? So for us, it's actually midnight. As long as it's not before midnight or 12:01, I should say, then it's going to be the following business day, which would be on the case of a 12:01 a.m. Friday sale, then it would be Monday. If it's before midnight sale on Thursday, then you'd have to ship Friday.
Well, it's Pacific time that eBay uses, right? So it'd be 2 a.m. for us.
Are you sure? I thought it was Central.
No, I think eBay uses Pacific time for all their time.
Okay, then yeah, it would be 2 a.m. for us too.
So
I guess I never really
maybe
looked
where I'm misremembering it. Maybe it's my wake up sales.
It was 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be. I don't even look at that. I don't look at when the sale occurred. I just go in and it says ship by, ship by, ship by. Yeah. So like tomorrow when I'm filling orders, it's the 30th. If it says ship by the 31st, I don't do anything with it. I leave it sit for that day. So ship by the 30th, pull all those and I ship them all.
Yeah, it never really comes into play for me anyway, because unless I'm traveling or going up north, I ship everything by 1 o'clock every day, that every order that I have. So
it's different if you have 200 orders each day.
Yeah.
Then you start going, I'm not doing those right now. I'm going to go do these. Now, sometimes I might have one that doesn't have to be shipped for a day, but it's a super easy pull or already have it on my desk or whatever. Yeah, I'll ship it. But I'm not going to go out of my way to ship something that doesn't have to be shipped right now when I have stuff that does.
Right. You got to prioritize it. That makes sense.
Yeah. But in the same light, like if I know I'm going out of town, sure, I'll pack them and ship them then, and then I don't have to think about it. Like for the national, I'll make sure everything is out before we leave.
Right.
I'll probably be shipping orders like 5 a.m. and we're leaving at 5:30 a.m.
But we're gonna have
drop them off on the way out
with us. We'll be able to ship from the national.
I wasn't planning on bringing my printer, but I guess I could.
Well, we only need one between the two of us, probably.
Well, drivers again, though. Well, you're right. We use the same one. So, yeah. It probably wouldn't really matter. Yeah, it's true. Weston says, missed you guys. I hope all is well. There was 2 Rowdy Telez rookies in the box, by the way. So I thought that was pretty funny. I'm in my summer Wednesday night roller hockey league. Wow. Currently, so I'm not able to catch the shows. Wishing you continued success. Awesome. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. And of course, these are recorded. You can watch them anytime. So, yeah, we understand that summer is. I was surprised we had 32 watchers in here at one point. That's a big number for this time of year. So, I expected the summer live to go down a bit, but precisely why we record them, you can watch them at your leisure whenever you do have time. Scott says, I guess I need to use these slower sales days to double down on listings. Yeah, see, now you get it. It's just an opportunity to do something else that you need to do. I literally get so demotivated when sales are slow. Don't do that. Don't let it drag you down.
Yeah, I used to do that. I will tell you, my wife and I were talking about it this week. End of last week, because I had a couple down days. And we've just learned to say, hey, it goes up and down. You're going to get a couple down days every once in a while, and then you're going to be booming again.
Well, think about it for me. It's my job. I need to say it. And the bigger you get, the less you'll the drop doesn't seem as much, right? So like if you have 10 sales normally and now you get 5, well, dude, that's drastic. If you have 200 sales and now you get 130, it's really not that big a deal. Like,
Yeah.
but yes, that should afford you time to do things you couldn't do currently in your business. So tweak your coupons, create a newsletter, make a logo for your card business, start a YouTube channel. Like, try some other things that you can build on that you don't just go, I don't have any sales today.
Keep hitting refresh.
Yeah, and I get it how it can zap your motivation, but you use this to your advantage and do some other things. Listing is obviously a great one. It's funny because I hear all the time that from resellers, not even just cards, just other reselling businesses too. I hate listing. I have to force myself to sit. I don't mind it. I kind of like it. I love getting new cards. I like putting them on there. I like going to my total listings and seeing like the dollar value grow. And to me, it's fun. I mean, I want them to sell too, but I like what I don't want to do it for 8 hours straight by any measure. It's too mundane. But I like it. I like getting a few hundred cards on a day. It makes me feel like I have growth and I have some measured numbers in there, and I like that it feels like new opportunity, right? So maybe somebody didn't want to buy my other 40,000 cards, but maybe these 3,000 cards I'll have a buyer. You know?
For me, it's my chance to go back to being a card collector myself, right? Like when I'm listing, I'm checking out the card and I get excited with some of the cards I look at. Oh my gosh, that is a really cool design. Or I'll read something on a card and say, I didn't know that, or who is this guy? I was listing. It's funny we're talking about this because I was listing Hall of Fame cards for the Olympics today, getting ready for the Olympics this summer. And I was flipping over a card, doing some backs, and I was actually looking at the bios, and I was like, oh, that guy was from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I didn't know that. Things like that. Like, that is fun for me. I would be going through cards anyway. So that's my connection to stay with the collector side of me.
Also, I look at it like, if I get this stuff listed, I can go buy more stuff.
Right.
So you have to kind of put things in your, like, a lot of this is mental, right? And when you run your own business, it's even more mental because no one's there to tell you to do something else.
Yeah.
You have to get these things, and you can only do it yourself because it's your own psyche. Everybody's different. You have to get these things in your head that takes away those bad things. So find something positive to. I hate listing. It's time consuming. It's boring. It's blah, blah, blah. But if I do it, then I can do this. Or if I, hey, on my list, I hate listing, but I list on Wednesdays and then I get ice cream when I'm done.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes to get you to do these things that are required to do. Find your own butt kicker.
That's funny because I've had that own internal monologue. I need to list these last 5 and then I'll go get a snack.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that a lot with packing and shipping. It's not as bad now because I have the bags, but I'm like, oh man, I don't want to dig through this whole row of cards to try to find this card. And like, but if I get this one done, then I can. And I've even done it with the snack thing. You're right. Food's a great motivator. But I'll be like, it's like 10 o'clock. If I can get this done in 10 minutes, I can go down and get my, chips or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. You gotta find those. This is a self-run business. You gotta find your own motivators. So for sure. All right. Are we caught up in chats?
We got one more.
We got one more. Hold on. Speaking about eBay tracking, sometimes a card never registered in tracking and the card is delivered. Couldn't that affect the algorithm and affect your seller rating? Yeah, if it doesn't get scanned. So I've never had a 100% have tracking in my dashboard ever. It's never happened. is always going to be, but I'll have, let's say I have 2,000 cards I shipped out last month, and 8 don't have tracking. It's super tiny. Like you can't drop down to these minutes. Now I get it. If you're only shipping 10 cards and one shows up that way, I get how you're like, man, 10% of my orders, but that's such a small sample. It's not. I'm telling you that's not real numbers. It's there. When you have a bigger size sample, you'll see that it's actually pretty good. But yes, there are some that go through. So the way it works is it goes in the machine, it goes around this folder so that it gets both sides of the envelope, and it's supposed to catch that scan. Guess what? Maybe the QR code didn't print quite well, or that scanner, when it went through that eye, it just didn't see it, whatever. It's gonna happen. And then yeah, it gets scanned when it gets delivered because that's a different scan. So is what it is. As long as you can stay in top rated and a few of those get through and it doesn't knock you down to that point, I wouldn't worry about it. Does that having that defect affect the algorithm? I don't think defects affect it as much as people think they do. I think it's the overall number of it. And that's why I believe top rated seller plus is actually such a huge boost in your placement in the algorithm and your listings. Because obviously you met the requirements of all those categories. Yeah, maybe you have a small defect level to each one, but it's within the margin they allow. Does that make sense? And then you offer the free returns and the 1-day shipping. They're like, boom, this is the guy we want in front of our customers. Why wouldn't they set up their algorithm? Hell, they give you money back. eBay, of all places, gives you money back to do this. It's clear they want you to be this. They're going to throw you in the algorithm in the right position because that's what they want. So you have to think about what they want, not what you want.
Right.
That's how their algorithm is going to be set up to whatever gets them the best. So I wouldn't worry about 1 out of your 1,000 didn't get scanned. I don't think the algorithm wants to break it down that far. It's not, and they realize too that there's going to be stuff that happens in the shipping. That's why they allow you margins of defects. They realize once in a while you're going to be like, oh crap, I don't have that card, or it's damaged. I have to refund this customer. They get it, but they want to limit you to how many of those you can do because it affects their customers. So as long as you're in all those margins, you're top rated. Why would they have the top rated seller program if they didn't want you to be that? You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
That's kind of how I look at that one. Huh?
Yeah, the one-offs are gonna happen. I wouldn't worry about the one-offs unless they become trends. Now, if your one-offs are becoming, heck, every day I got a tracking ding, now you might attract attention in that algorithm negatively. But to like Adam's point, I don't know that anybody has a perfect score at anything. We even talk about the stupid feedback mechanisms, right? Like when you're a new seller, you want to keep that 100% positive going as long as you can. And you get that first negative or poor feedback or negative or neutral. And you're like, damn it, I'm not perfect anymore. Well, it's not the end of the world. In fact, it's going to happen. You're going to have a defect someplace. It's just when they start to pile up that you're going to be in trouble. Speaking of that, had a good conversation a couple weeks ago about neutral feedback because somebody was really upset about neutral feedback. So I told a new eBay seller story that I had, personal story. And when I first went on eBay, I looked at the feedback mechanism literally like I would leaving a tip. So if I go to a buffet and someone just clears my plate while I go to the next one, I don't leave a whole lot, right? Because I got my own food, right? If I'm at a full service restaurant where they're bringing me everything and they're tending to my needs before I even need them, I'm going to leave a lot. So I looked at the feedback mechanism the same way, and you may even remember this because I didn't give someone like a 5 or something on shipping or something like that because it took like 15 days or something. I didn't know better at the time. So I'm like, well, that's not top of the scale for me. So I'm going to bring them down one little piece, overall positive experience, but I didn't give them that 5 stars. Well, they lit into me in a message and blocked me. I tried to buy a card from them like a month later and I couldn't buy it. I found out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Because they were trying to get that perfect rating, right? So the moral of the story is someone was complaining about neutral feedback. Well, most casual eBay buyers that aren't out there every day probably have no concept of neutral being a bad rating like we see it as a seller. They're like, hey, met my expectations, didn't exceed it, wasn't below it. I ordered this card. They delivered it as planned. Nothing special, neutral. They don't mean anything bad by it. But we as sellers get it and we're like, damn it, they gave me a neutral.
I've gotten a neutral and the only comment is, great card, thank you so much. Well, why the hell is it neutral then?
Because they're probably looking at it from a true service. Hey, you didn't go beyond my expectations. You delivered exactly what you advertised. Good on you. You met the standard.
But I certainly wouldn't block that buyer. That's a buyer that's going to come back. Why the hell would I block them?
Right, right. I thought that was a little excessive.
It's a little bit, yeah. So a couple things about your feedback. First of all, eBay doesn't give a shit about feedback. So it doesn't play into the algorithm. It doesn't affect your sales. None of that. Because generally negative feedback will impact your other areas that actually matter, where you're going to have defects and things like that. So they don't care about feedback. Second of all, if you go into a seller's item page and look at the instant feedback they give you the top positive feedback on there.
Right.
None of the negative.
Yeah.
So not relevant. Third, once you become big enough, people look at like your overall, oh, geez, he's got 100,000 feedback and he's at 9, they probably look at the percentage because that's on there right away.
Yeah.
But they look at you and they go, you're 99.9%. I do not need to read your feedback. It's
right.
fine.
Exactly.
So, and then eventually you'll build like a regular customer base and they're not going to care about your feedback either because they've already had experience with you and know it's good. No, I'm not saying don't care about your feedback or, try to get them corrected if there's a bad one, whatever, but don't put so much emphasis on this. Worry about your actual top seller categories, your defect categories. That's the only one that's really going to matter whether or not eBay likes you and wants to promote you, and whether or not you're going to qualify for more discounts going forward and get placed correctly, things like that. So the feedback is kind of a way for customers to tell other customers. That's why eBay has it. And actually, I think that the measure of that mattered more years ago.
When it was the Wild Wild West on eBay?
Yeah, than it does now, because now they measure you based on whether you input tracking, when you ship, if you answer messages on a timely, because that's one thing that nobody talks about either. But there is a comment on there that new customers can see that says, generally answers within blah 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 period of time. Like that matters because now they're going, well, he's 99.9% positive and he answers people quickly. Like that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And that's like going back to the USPS delays when they show delivered and they're not. I typically get positive feedback even in those situations because I'm consistently engaged with the buyer, and that's what they post then. Hey, really great communication. Buyer was very knowledgeable about the shipping process and helped me, see what was going on with my card. Even though it was delayed in their eyes and caused some hassle, I still got positive feedback because of the response time, right?
Right. Now I'm on my dashboard here. My late shipment rate is 0.04%.
Oh, really?
of my shipments. So out of 4,749 transactions, 2 didn't get scanned for shipping. Pretty low number.
Yeah.
So what that means is my transactions uploaded on time and validated is 99.55%. So 5,319 of 5,343 transactions, the tracking uploaded on time.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by when you take a bigger sample, it is a really, really tiny number that doesn't go through the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Even though you shipped it.
My late shipment rate is 0, and my tracking uploaded on time and validated is 99.86.
And that number will go down the more you do. Because
Yeah.
you're going to have 1 or 2 that.
I had one uploaded on time, but no carrier scan.
And consider this, that also includes me getting an entire bucket of mail back 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That I had to reship, and those took 5 days to come back to me. So
that's true.
Yeah, those that's that. I don't think that's a number to really be concerned with. Unless Charlie said instead of it being an outlier, you're getting these big numbers. Now you got to look. Maybe you're not packing correctly. You're not, printing the label right. Whatever.
Right.
There's probably some error in there that shouldn't be there. But I've been top rated seller plus for like almost 6 years now.
Yeah.
And I've never fallen below that. So it's possible to maintain it, but yeah, you got to pay attention. But that is clearly the most important thing to follow, and will place you in the algorithm in the best spots. All right, we got 2 more comments, and then I think we'll wrap it up. We're getting pretty late here. All great advice. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for asking questions, everybody. That helps us. And what we're trying to do, we didn't even really get to our topics tonight, which is okay.
That happens every once in a while.
I'm sure we did, but kind of through these conversations. And yeah, I'd much rather ditch any perspective things we want to talk about to actually get into what the chat needs to talk about. That's the point of being here. Coaches, Collectibles, Tennessee. Hey guys, love the advice. Where can I find the information to file a PIP claim on eBay? I knew somebody was going to ask that.
Yeah, that's all you.
Yep. You literally go to PIP claim, pip-claim.com. And then it has and that brings up a form. It says file a eBay shipping protection plan claims. That's what it stands for. Protection insurance plan claim, I believe. But the claim form just has a few boxes. You have to enter your eBay ID, a PayPal email address, because that's how they refund you, is to a PayPal address. Your PayPal address again, the tracking number for the package or envelope, the type of claim, if it's loss or damage. Haven't done a lot of damage ones, but if you do this long enough, you'll get some of those too. Then you have to enter the first and last name of the person you sent it to. Enter your name, your actual first and last name. And then there's a couple things you have to attach. So you have to attach a screenshot of your order details. So I literally just go to the eBay order and I hit print screen and save it as a PDF and then attach that. And then you have to upload a image of any messages you had with the buyer. So that's kind of hard to do on the desktop. So I just take a screenshot of the messages on my phone and then I email it to myself and then I just attach that. Takes me like a minute to file the claim. It's really, really quick. So then once you file that claim, within an hour, you'll get an email saying, hey, thanks for filing your claim and using Protection Plus or whatever they call it. We're reviewing it, whatever. And then you go into your PayPal in like a day, Give it 48 hours just to make sure. But you go in within those 2 days and you'll see a deposit and it'll say protection plan, claim, whatever, and then your deposit. So works really well. Did you get the form? You're looking at it?
Me, no, I didn't pull it up.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's what it is.
I've been fortunate. I haven't had to go to it yet.
It's going to happen.
I probably had one early on where, in retrospect, I should have used it, but I didn't know any better at that time.
And I don't use it a ton. I mean, even for my volume, I don't get a ton of them, but good once every few weeks. I've got something where it's scanned and it just never ended up anywhere, and I never got it back. Now I also had one, maybe two, where I filed the claim because it'd been, the 15 days or whatever, because there is a waiting period on it. They paid the claim, and like 3 weeks later, I got the card back in the mail.
Okay.
So I got the refund, plus I ended up with the card. So I don't know if it just got into La La Land and they're like, well, we don't know how to deliver this, so we'll just send it back. I don't know. But I just relisted the card. So. We got a donation. $1.99 super sticker. Nice. Love it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And then Coach's Collectible says, giving you guys a thumbs up from Tennessee. Thanks. Thank you for giving us a like. All right, we're going to end it here again. And thanks for the reminder. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Those who are watching on the recorded version, thank you so much for watching. Try to join us live if you can, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time every Wednesday. Me, Charlie, and the Stu. Stu hasn't been very involved lately. We've been so much serious talk,
Yeah,
Don't
we're
get to bring
all
the Stu
down to
into it.
business, right?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, try to join us live. Otherwise, of course, this is always recorded. You can join us anytime after that. And be sure to like Charlie's channel. I'm going to put that banner back up one more time to the Discord. Here's the Discord link. Join the Discord. It's free. Some good channels in there. Lots of good conversation, kind of like you see on this live each week. So we'd be happy to have you in there. Trying to grow that membership too. It's great little community. It gives you a voice, more voice than you get just listening to us on this live each week. And that's it. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell to be notified of future videos that you post a couple times a week generally. And yeah, hope to see you soon. If you're going to the national, let us know. We want to start posting that the national channel on Discord, because we'd like to start maybe compiling some names and maybe trying to plan to do something together. Go have a dinner or a meetup or a pack war or something would be fun. It'd be great. Or join us on the live. Maybe we can have a bigger group and have a bigger live. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure out what we can do with that. But we'd love to do that. It's probably the one time where we can get a few of us really together from
have a panel.
All these different places. Have a panel. I've done panels at big cons, and I don't know that I want to do that. It's not as fun as you think it is. I was on a panel at San Diego Comic-Con. That's something. Yeah, it's a little intimidating, big crowds. It's fun to do once.
Yeah,
that's how I look at that. But that's it. You want to add anything, Charlie?
All I got left is peace out. Take care of each other.
Remember, you can't sell what you don't list. Peace out. See you next week.